And let's not start that muted, because then no one's going to know what the cars sound like at all. They're going to be like, oh, where are the engine sounds? And I'm going to be like, I don't know, guys. Alright.
Got a link for your stream one more time?
Oh boy. I guess I can't go back to Twitter now, can I? Oh, yes I can.
Not Twitter, your YouTube one.
I know.
Oh, there we go.
I just posted
I got it.
Oh boy.
I got it. It's live. It's live. Got it.
Good. Where the heck is this button? Alright.
Okay, we're starting the qualifying.
Yes, indeed we are. Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and any other viewer who happens to be watching. Welcome to the, I think, second RSR crossover event. Is this the second one?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, this is the second one.
Second one, Bathurst, 2 hours, and apparently we're qualifying at night, which is very interesting indeed.
Yes, early hours in the morning. In-game time 4 o'clock.
And right now we're just about on board with S. Bart from the UK. Very, very interesting orange livery, if I do say so myself. I believe it's still one of the stock ones, but
Yes, it is.
who am I to judge?
So we're looking at the dominance of McLaren and the Bentleys today. We've got the second class. We're having a multi-class event happening with the BMW M1 Stompsworks and the GT3s.
And I'm not exactly 100% sure how exactly per lap difference each of the cars are. I do know that I did attempt to do this in a Mercedes and a Ginetta, and this track was fairly difficult indeed to try and crack even. I also had some wheel troubles, as well as we see McLaren of S. Bart just go right around the outside of that BMW like it was standing still. So safe to say about 3-4 seconds a lap.
I think people are just trying to get some fresh air, trying to get some clear air before they start their flying lap. And we'll shortly see how times go. Looking at the top dogs, I'm sure we'll be doing a 203, maybe a high 202. I don't know if they're going to push any faster than that. We'll see how it goes.
Qualifying is kind of a little bit of the semi-unknown. We are not sure if anyone's going to even surprisingly break into the 202s. I know in PRD that does happen quite frequently. We think there's going to be a pace set time, and then someone knocks it right out of the park in one lap. We'll see if that continues here. Just looking down the order, we've got Falcon at 2081, as well as Flying Spark, who's currently driving the Z4 this evening. You've got Scoundrel in the 4th position. He's going to be in a McLaren as well. And we've got Corbs in 5th and Kursat in 6th with the stance work. But we're back on board with S. Bart UK, who's doing his first flying lap, entering Sector 2 of Bathurst. A little bit of understeer there in the beginning of Sector 2 as we come down through the left-hander onward toward the S's. Very tricky set of corners this is in the GT3 car. In fact, in any car, as he almost runs flat into the wall at the beginning of the qualifying. Handles the bump fairly well. Picks up a little bit of understeer on the exit, though, as he comes down into the far elbow. Be tempted to try and grab as much room as he can on the exit as he almost touches the white painted line. He's now coming down the main back straightaway into the final sector, the chase. Now, so far, we don't really have much telemetry going down on the sector times of each of the drivers at the moment as they are doing their first set of laps. We do know that Stocky Now Scoundrel is currently first fastest. We're going to see where S-Bart ends up qualifying as he comes around the final bend now, and he's going to set a pole position lap for the moment.
205. I'm still aiming at the 203s. It's going to happen tonight. Watching Manu going around the corner at the moment is on the chase.
Definitely.
He's having some traffic problems at the moment.
Indeed, as we are on board with Manu at the moment, he's coming down through the final corner off in the McLaren GT3, currently running PRD colors on my screen. I'm not sure if that's completely correct.
Yes, it is.
It is, indeed. Okay, so he's running WRX Buddy's livery, so I guess they're teammates for the evening as he sets a 2:04.9. About a second off a pole, but we are talking about the first lap in a 65-degree track at the moment.
Our known alien is Falcon. At the moment, I'm busy watching him. He's P3 at the moment. He's going on the front straight. What is that called again?
The front straight is called the Mountain Straight. He's now coming down into Quarry, and the next three corners are called the Cutting and then Griffin's Mount. It gets really complicated once you get into the midfields because all the corners are so stacked together and you gotta name them. And Falcon's just smacked the side of the wall on the exit of turn number 4, I believe. And he's coming down into the 5-6 complex right hand of Griffin's Mount, going down through the middle sector, going through Reed Park, a relatively interesting sector if you don't have the setup quite right, as he's now going to go down to McPhilney Park and down toward the S's, but so far he's keeping it pretty clean on this section of the lap.
Yes. He's a bit rusty, he's been out of it for about a year, and he's making his comeback.
It looks as if it might be the comeback charge of a lifetime. He's still sitting P3. His second sector was a 44.6, which isn't too bad. We'll see how far that drops down coming through the next lap. But he's got quite a bit of... he's left very little room on the exit of that last corner there as he's going down the Conrad Straight. And now it looks as if... the Roof GT3 has been Sebastian Vettel blue flagged on this flying lap, of course. But Falcon definitely on the charge coming through the chase, turns 20 through 22. 23 corners line this track, and he's coming through the final one at the moment as he's going to attempt to cross the line. His last time was a 2:04.8. This time is going to be a 2:05.6, so definitely not improved this lap.
No, let's hopefully you can pick it up next round.
Next drive around, indeed, we've got a 20...
Piscoton's put in a 2:03.
A 2:03.2. That is alarmingly quick from the PRD driver coming down the main straightaway. I'm not exactly 100% sure of his nationality at the moment, but he's definitely making that McLaren fly, and Senna may be proud tonight.
And he was also put in a 2:03, so people are getting to 2:03s now. 2:03.5 by Manu today.
We've got a 2:03.5, a 2:03.2, and a 2:04.6. So there's currently a sizable split between the top two cars and the rest of the field at the moment, as Fiskerton almost scraping the exit wall with the back end of his McLaren there. He's now going down into the S section of Bathurst. Very close to the walls indeed. Flicks the car in very nicely into the dipper, carrying a lot of speed down the hill going toward the Forest's elbow. As he comes around now, gets really nice apex speed through the mid-corner. He's going to now go down the Conrad straightaway, where he's definitely going to get a much-needed breather as he sets up for the final 3 corners on the track.
Let you know, Bullets just put in a 2:02.6.
So
as time's happening at the moment.
So as per normal fashion, Fiskerton has locked up the front left going into the corner, but we have absolutely smashed qualifying projections today so far. We're projected to hit about the 203 mark here in the qualifying session. We've now reached the 202s. Fiskerton has only set a 203.6, so he is not improved at the moment. Bullet, dominant in PRD, looks as if he's dominant in the crossover right now with a 202.6, and we're looking at Manu at the moment off into P3s, coming through the mid portion of the second sector on the downhill. He's absolutely flying down that hill, scrapes the wall with the side of his McLaren. I don't think he's lost too much speed off of that. But as you can see, the entry speed he just seems to be carrying through the second sector is absolutely insane. But now he's come down into the third sector. He's trying to keep it nice and tidy, coming down into the Forest Elbow. He's going to go down into the Conrad Straight, down this very long back straightaway where things like, I believe the Bentley does have quite a big of an advantage here on just the straight line speed. Both have turbos, but I believe the McLaren has a twin turbo, so I'm not 100% sure if that gives the McLaren an edge on this track or not. But if we look at the splits, we have about a bunch of McLarens and some Z4s. I think
the McLarens have a bit of a climate advantage, so going uphill and downhill, they the known favourite. Just looking at the second group of classes, we have Crazy Dog sitting in P15 with a 216. He is blisteringly quick. We have the next person, the second place person in the second class, it's 7 sitting down at 218.3, so that's about a second gap, 2 seconds gap should I say. They are flying at the back in the second class, but there's quite a big gap, so there's about a 2-second gap between P1, 2 and 3. But they are definitely putting down the pace, I can see.
And they're definitely at least 4 seconds off of the slowest GT3 car. 7 just goes into the wall coming out of the dipper, I believe, and it seems as if 2 McLarens have caught Scott Meek at the wrong section of the lap. They seem to want to get through desperately to complete the lap time, but I don't think they're going to do it so far in this lap. So,
and Scottnik is busy putting down a very quick time as well, so it's not really the optimal timing that these McLarens have on him, but let's see what happens.
Yeah, they're very punchy at the moment. That last McLaren's probably hoping that he can try and get around the BMW before they reach the end of the straightaway, and I'm actually a bit surprised
the BMW has a very good top end. It's just the acceleration that it's different.
Indeed, as that McLaren's really tight under braking, runs very wide on the exit. Scott Meek having to give some room to both of the McLarens as he's received a not sure if I can call that a dive bomb, but that was definitely really hard on the brakes into that corner.
Oh, that was around the outside and very ballsy by that McLaren. Well done to him.
Well done for all of the drivers to keep it, well, out of the wall at the very least, and out of each other. Now, let's see if we can go into the order. On board with Crazy Dog, who seems to have a bit of clear air at the moment. His last lap time, what seems to be the class, not exactly the class best. Class best ends up being a 2:14.5 set by
2:14.5 by Stolnikas. Well done to him. I didn't actually see his lap there, but that was insane. And then secondly, we have Jono the 1. And then we have Crazy Dogs, and then 7.
Seems as if he's trying to see if he can get a little bit of an edge on the next set of laps so he can possibly try and get at least on the front row for the start of the race. Although that BMW coming down the hill as we're watching on board does look like it's a bit of a handful.
It surely is. It doesn't turn in as well as these GT3s, but its top end really does it well.
It does seem like the drivers are having, at the very least, a little bit of fun of just chucking the car into half of these corners. I see a lot of four-wheel slides coming out of these sections. But we're going to watch Crazy Dog as he comes through Murray's corner right about now. We're going to see his lap time as he crosses the line. The time being a 1:15.62. So, very small improvement, but improvement nonetheless as the McLaren goes right past. Currently, our provisional pole is going to be Bullet with a 2:02.4. Blistering lap time from the Brazilian at the moment. And behind that is going to be Manu setting a 2:03.0. Very quick times.
Sitting in third. Sitting in fourth at the moment. Falcon sitting in fifth, but Falcon's having some trouble all the time. I've been watching him coming through the top of the mountain, and he's always having one BMW always in front of him from the second class. Unlucky by him, he just can't get one good smooth lap in.
It seems like he's having a bit of trouble with so many people coming onto the track to try and set quick laps to see if they could get into the top 5 or at least the top 2. He's just finding a bit of issue trying to find a clean spot on the track to lay down some lap times. As Crazy Dog loses it right in front of him, causing the two McLaren brothers to kind of stack up coming down the hill.
Scoundrel and Falcon is just nose to tail pretty much pushing down this hill.
The more I watch qualifying with these McLarens, the more it feels more like a qualifying race than it is a qualifying session.
Yes, I feel sorry for these guys not getting their clear air that they need to go push their times down. I'm sure they can get a bit quicker than this, but they can do what they have at the moment, and they're doing pretty good.
Indeed, the track temperature has increased since the last time we've started the broadcast. Has gone from about 66 degrees to about 70, so about a 4-degree difference. So there should be a little more heat in the tires, at least at the start of a qualifying lap, though.
Also, remember, they'll be running times 5, weather progression, going into a clear, hazy, and light cloud to the finishing of the race. So it's going to be quite difficult getting these tire temperatures down where you are at full grip.
It's going to be difficult managing them indeed, especially once they start to get hot. They kind of don't necessarily come back to you all the way. But, very interesting track, this one. I know by far the first sector of this track ends up being my favorite sector of many tracks. However, the second sector leaves a little bit much to be desired, mainly because of the dipper. Everything else seems to make a little more sense as Falcon scratches the inside wall coming out of Griffin's Mount down into Reed Park and McPhilney Park, respectively. Going on.
Because trying to putting down another lap on top of the mountain, but he is kind of going very wide. He's going to do the SS right now, coming down towards the dipper. Seeing if he can hold that BMW down. He does it nicely, holding it nice and good and clean. Straight back on the power. Got some good clean air, so let's hope we can get some good times out of this.
Indeed. Currently on board with Solnikas and on board with
Solnikas, yes, there we go.
Stolnikas.
He's just had Manu passing him there.
He seems to be chilling on this lap. Seems like he's going for a Sunday drive while driving like the quickest laps of his life. It's very fun to watch.
Very smooth on the hilltop as well, which is doing really good.
Seems like you could give this man a cup of tea and he probably wouldn't even spill it, like flicking a car into a corner at like 100 miles an hour. Reminds me of Daniel Ricciardo, this does.
2:14.5. That was pretty good.
Indeed, his last time was about a 2:20, so I believe that one was an outlap.
Okay.
I think he's starting his flying lap just about now, though his sectors, at least his first sector, is on par with some of the GT3 drivers, which leaves something for the imagination. What would happen if Stolnikas was in a GT3 car with the first sector? He set a 46.2.
Definitely. He's doing it so calmly. He's really going through the hilltop, nice and easy.
Doesn't even seem.
It looks so smooth.
Doesn't even seem like he's fighting the car. This makes me think: is he doing qualifying, or is he in like a practice program right now?
Definitely seeing some sliding on the top of the hill there, but he's pushing it really hard and it's really good and clean. But that McLaren might be causing a little bit of an issue soon, touching the wall there. Both of them touching the wall coming through there.
Oh boy.
Oh, and he's given up the lap to McLaren to go past.
I think he's aborting the lap. He might have
just put in a 2:02.198, setting him into pole position.
Woo!
These times are getting crazy out of hand.
These times are getting a little Timmy too turned up right now.
That was insane. That must have been the time when he passed Stolnikas on the back straight.
That is absolutely blistering time right there.
He just opened up the taps and let it go.
He just like took all of the sandbags and just threw them out the window.
Most definitely.
Is he running fuel, or does he just have fuel cells in his car? I think.
I would love to know, but that is very quick.
I think grip.exe is responding this time around.
I think it's that PRD livery that he's busy running.
He stole WRX Buddy's face and he just added it to his own, and now we've got like super aliens. Soon he'll just like pick up like a spaceship and fly away. He's done so well. We've got Bullet out again, going through the first sector, absolutely flying. Well, it seems as if his last lap time was about 7 minutes, so I'm not sure if he's going to need another lap to warm his tires or not, with the track hitting about 73 at the moment. But today he's going to cross the line once again, and he's going to set a 2:55.2. So he's going for another flying lap as well, Manu is. Bullet is in the second sector, scratching the wall. It seems as if most drivers are opting to slap all of the walls in Sector 2. Especially the quick ones.
Carrying way too much speed through there, and these tires are getting warm very quickly now. The sun coming out.
I'm not sure if we're going to see this level of speed for too long during the race. I think the tires will just fall off.
Definitely. I think they miserably pushed all they could with like zero fuel. Like you say, running on cells.
Oh my lord, today is pushing like crazy. He's like...
Got that car handling really down.
Oh my lord! Just hit a landmine and kept going.
Brakes so laid down the S's there, keeping the speed up.
This makes me think if he's driving an LMP3 car or a GT3 car. I'm not sure.
There's a BMW in front of him though that could be causing some issues down the dipper or the final corner. No, it's good and clean. Maybe get some slipstream off it.
If this works out perfectly, we might even see an improvement on that 2021 if he doesn't get held up by this BMW into the chase
those BMWs
section.
have great top end. If you pass him before that corner, it's going to be quite a tough one.
I'm just hoping he doesn't hold him up through the exit of the corner, because
looks like
he's aborted the lap.
He's aborted.
Fiskerton's still on the lap though. He might get
Bullet just putting down a 2:02.017. Coming down to first position.
The battle!
He just put down a blistering time.
The battle for pole position is real right now.
This is 5 minutes left over the
Oh no! Fiskerton! Fiskerton's on the 2019! Holy!
Oh my god! These times are getting ridiculous now.
I think this is where I start to think, some of these drivers are, no longer on fuel cells. They're, like, smoking some type of space crack that is allowing the reflex of
Seeing these times improving lap after lap.
after lap. Oh, my lord. 41.8 for a first sector. That is absolute insanity. We've got Bullet down for another lap. It doesn't look as if his sectors are actually improved on the second sector in comparison to Fiskerton. However, he's going to have to make quite a bit of an improvement on the third sector to get anywhere near the 201s.
He's about two seconds out. I don't think he's going to get that.
Let's see what we got here. Let's see, this lap time is a 206. Yeah, he is way out.
Manu going out again.
Indeed, he's currently in the third position for the last 4 minutes of qualifying, which is quite intense for the RSR driver, as we've got 2 PRD drivers in first and second, and we've got Manu in third, trying to improve on his lap, but he's currently got a Bentley sat in front of him. Not sure how that's going to help him in the last 3 minutes of qualifying. I don't think he's going to get more than 2 more runs on these tires before he's completely gone.
Lap. Maybe 1 lap out of this. Hope Bentley can move out of the way.
But
Bentley's been driven by Corbs, so he should be moving out of the way. He's P12 at the moment, Corbs.
But we've got Bullet and Fiskerton off into the pits. It doesn't seem as if they think they can improve any more on that lap time.
I doubt they can improve. That is just alien driving.
Oh my lord, that is absolute insanity.
Once this qualifying ends, I think Near, you do the calling on first to last position. I'm going to be taking the safety car around the track and setting off these amazing alien drivers.
Oh my lord. Okay, so I think what's going on is Manu is going to attempt to make 1 more lap before the end of qualifying.
I think this is his last lap.
I think this is because... But I think the main problem is right now, if this is his last lap, he's lost time behind the Bentley because it spun out in the middle of Sector 1. Unless he believes... Yeah, no, there's no way.
I think he's just practicing now.
Yeah, there's no way he's going to get another lap. It's too close. It's 206 for the minute.
But still, a 201.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Ridiculous.
I did not expect 201. I expected the 202 flat, partially. I expected them to come down that much. I did not expect anyone to make the 201s this evening around, especially around this track.
I expected them 202 highs. I didn't even expect 201s.
I expected
it's insane.
Low 202s with the 203 flat that Fisk ended up putting in practice.
Well, let's look at the second class. The second class is still lying the same. Stolniker's in 14th, which is P1. 15th, we have Crazy Dogs, which is a bit of a changeover because John of the One was position 15 for quite a while. We have John of the One P16, which is P3. P17, we have 7.
Who's currently out on track. We'll see
if
he does end up improving, but by the looks of that car, that doesn't seem likely at the moment.
That car's a bit banged up.
Ooh, and it's all on the left side, which is a little bit odd. And he does not improve. He's 2/10 off. Got Scott Meek in the 18th position. Kursat in the 19th position. Dark Angel in 20th. And we've got our camera crew. So, very interesting grid
I'll
so
be
far.
hopping over into the channel. Good luck with the naming of them all. I'll be seeing you shortly.
Indeed. I want to thank everyone for joining in for qualifying. We're about to start our very first race with the upset caused by Fiskerton yet again in the GT class category car. He set the fastest time in PRD. He set the fastest time in RSR. We're going to see if anyone's up to the challenge. He's been known to make a few mistakes during the race, but let's see if that stops him this time around. We've got Bullet right behind him, championship rival since the get-go, and then we've got Manu behind that, who is going to be looking to impress the home audience here in the Australian track. But a fine qualifying session that was. We'll be back after these messages. This is good. This is very bad. Alright, hello and welcome to the RSR crossover event. I am your host, Near, coming to you from the commentary box. Our co-commentator, FlyingKman, is currently in the SLS BMW safety car, where we've had a very interesting qualifying session indeed. We've had Fiskerton take the world by storm in qualifying, setting, I believe, the all-time fastest lap record here for, I think, both leagues, PRD and RSR, with a 2:01.9. Let's take this in for a second. A 2:01.9 in a GT3 car. Around Bathurst, one of the most notoriously bumpy tracks here on the calendar, next to Nürburgring, or Nordschleife, as some like to call it as well. That is absolutely mind-boggling. That is absolutely insane. We've also got, because it's not just Fiskerton that makes this insane, we've also got Bullet, only like a couple tenths off, maybe 3 tenths. I think it went 2:01.9, 2:02 flat, and then 2:02.4 in that order, going from Fiskerton to Manu today, as others may know him as. And then we've got Falcon right behind that, Fenor right behind that. I think that ends up being like, a 1 second split coming after Fenor into static energy after qualifying. And Espartan 8th, Scoundrel 9th, Rainbow in 10th, Dama in 11th, Stocky in 12th. Good on him for showing up for the 2-hour event this time around. And we've also got Corbs in 13th, Flying Spark in 14th, Stalnikas in 15th, setting provisional pole in the M1 class. And we've got Crazy Dog snatching the front row, 2nd place, in the dying laps of qualifying. So this is going to be very interesting indeed to see how this pans out. We've got John the One, who had 2nd place taken from him at the last minute. He's rounding out 3rd, 7th, and 4th for that class. Scott Meek in 5th, Kursat in 6th, and Dark Angel in 7th. But that is our order.
Oh, I'm back.
For the race, as we're coming to the green flag now. My oh my. K-Man, that qualifying.
Trouble, but he sorted it out by resetting the car and he's back up on the road, flying a P3.
Indeed. But we're now coming to the green flag as we cross the line here soon. 2 hours of Bathurst. Let's
Here we go.
go
Green, green, green.
Racing. Flying Spark defending from Bullet. We've got a little bit of contact from 3rd onward. Someone's off the track. It looks like it's Falcon. He's come down to 5th. We've got Fenor down into the 4th position. I'm not sure if that's where he qualified, but not where he's expecting to be at the moment. S-Bart in 6th. We've got Static Energy still in the same position. We've got Rainbow Bow in 8th. Rainbow. Maybe we should call him that from now on. That sounds like a pretty good nickname, but they're coming.
Falcon is busy pushing back to 5th position already, going up in the top hill. He's coming back. He's got 1 more position back to where he was starting in the start finish. But it's looking tight.
It's looking very tight indeed, as 1st and 2nd place seem to be pulling away a little bit. 3rd is catching behind, and Fenor is just hanging right on the back of Manu as we come through the 2nd sector. Oh my lord, Aspartus lost the rear end! He's gone off the track, he's on the inside! And that is very unfortunate for the McLaren driver here at the top of the hill, getting passed by the BMW Stanceworks. Wow.
These BMWs aren't messing around. John of the One taking position 2 already. Stolnika's leading the 2nd group, pushing really hard, nice and smooth as he was in the qualifying.
Indeed. For those of you who haven't seen qualifying quite as of yet, he was pretty much just driving around like it was a Sunday drive on the highway around the qualifying bends. Even when he was sliding, it just looked like he was in so much control of that car. It's kind of masterful that was, as we seem to have another GT3 car as well stuck in between the Stanceworks here on the straightaway, as one of them kind of gives Static Energy a bit of a love tap as Stalnikas runs off the course, slightly allows the other driver to get right next to him. Johnny the One, it's like a drag race down into the corner, but John the One has now gotten 1st position.
Oh, that is good. We have a 3-way battle here between Scoundrel, Dharma the Crow, and Ramibu. Really close driving when them start going over the start-finish line. Pretty much the 3-way battle. And Ramibu's going for a overtake on the uphill, and he is just about made it stick.
They're still side by side going up the hill into the cutting. 3, 4, 5. Griffin's mount, but he's
slots in behind.
Yeah, due to the nature of the corner, he's had to give up the position. Not quite on the optimal line for that one there, but he's still right on the back of Dama the Crow. Lost a bit of leeway going down the downhill, and now Dama's flying to try and catch the back of Scoundrel, who's currently in P6 in the McLaren. trying to hold on for dear life as this downhill is quite deadly. The Dipper, even in qualifying and practice, has caught quite a few drivers out who weren't necessarily paying too much attention as he loses the front end a little bit on the entry to the Forest Elbow. Dama does. Going back to the front, we've still got Fiskerton in P1 by almost a 1 second margin here in the Bathurst track. Behind him, about 2 seconds behind, it looks like on the timing screen, but...
a second is Bullet, and then 1.5 seconds is Today, a 0.3 with Phenol, 0.9 with Falcon, 5.9 second is Scoundrel. Then we have Dom the Crow, Ramiboo, Corbs, Stocky, Flying Spark, Static Energy, Jono the One, Stolnikus. They're pushing hard. Crazy Dogs and Scott Milk.
As there seems to be...
Scott Mick, sorry.
I've done it too, it's okay. It's happened before.
It's on my second screen, so it's quite far to read.
Sorry, Scott. Your name looks more like MILF than it does Meek. I mean, honestly, it kind of suits him being Scott Milk, but I don't think he'd have any of that if he was here. But there seems to be a bit of a battle between Crazy Dog and Scott Meek. 7 following suit behind, just trying to keep the rear end of that BMW on point, trying not to lose it going through the midsection of this track as he's having, it looks like he's struggling to try and get the front end in with this car. Corbs as well, he's coming down the downhill in that that Bentley Continental, holding off what seems to be Stocky and Flying Spark, traveling fairly close behind. They're now going down the Forest Elbow. I believe the Bentley is going to have a little bit of an advantage here in the straightaway, but we won't know quite as of yet.
We're just having S-Bot coming out of the pit lane as well. Such a quick driver, lying last position at the moment. Let's hope he can get those positions back and push on. 2 hours is long. So he's got a long way to go. Hopefully he can make it back.
A very long way to go indeed. Anyone can make a mistake here in the Bathurst 2-hour event, and those who make the least tend to be the victors coming in these events, but you still have to have the pace to pay the bills, and it looks as if Fiskerton does at the moment, almost scratching the outside wall coming into Quarry Corner, turn 2. It's now going up the hill, and it looks very smooth. He just seems to be controlling the pace at the moment of the cars behind. He's currently about what seems to be 2 seconds ahead of Bullet at the moment.
Fiskerton, 2.6 seconds. He's pulled out another 1.5 seconds on Bullet, so I think he's pushing a little bit to get that early lead, get that cushion that he needs, and then I think he'll relax after that.
He'll try and conserve the tires. Manu's having a bit of a time trying to hold off Fenor and Falcon. All 3 drivers in a bit of a train downhill as Fenor has tapped the wall in the exit of the S's.
What I do see is Manu is really pushing so hard. He's now 1 second away from Bullet. Oh, wait. My telemetry is obviously reading wrong. Now it's at 2.5 seconds.
I've got...
One of the ones lying in P13. He's overtaken Stolnikas. Let's see if that come back. Stolnikas is 4.2 seconds behind him at the moment.
Not sure if this is an early gain for pit strategy or if Stolnikas is trying to conserve the tires for later in the race. He might be going for a longer stop. Of course, we're not 100% sure, never been in a race for Project Cars that was any longer than about 45 minutes to an hour, so not sure how much the pit stop strategy game is going to play into this race, but it does seem as if Stonicus is quite a bit behind Johnny the One so far in the early race pace coming down into the chase. And Dark Angels coming out of the Forest Elbows grabbed 2 walls. Not sure how much damage that BMW has at the moment, but he may or may not need to head right back into the pit, as we've got today just about 3 seconds behind Bullet at the moment.
Fiskerton is actually putting down a 2:03.999. He's really pushing hard. He's the fastest one out of them all so far. All the rest putting about a half a second lower than him.
If he can keep this up without making a mistake, at least in this first stint, he has quite a large cushion.
Definitely.
To the cars behind. And this is just early race. We're not even talking about the late race yet. But that's got to translate into the pit strategy somewhere. Unless he pulls a Hamilton and his tires just explode. That could happen too.
I doubt it. He's got a good lead on. That car looks rock solid underneath him.
Just with the amount of confidence, he just throws the car into the corner.
So grippy. It's really well set up.
Very nice looking car, very well set up. He's definitely putting on a show for the fans. He put on a show in qualifying, he's putting on a show in the race. And everyone...
I see Falcon has passed Phenol.
And Fenor seems to be... Fenor seems to be keeping up with him, at least on this straightaway. Seems to be closing just a little bit with some aid of the slipstream as they both go into turn 1. Gets a decent enough exit, just trying to see if he can line up Falcon coming out of the second sector, because I don't believe any passes could be made until the third sector with how tight the track is and how aggressive all of the bumps and the curbing are. Trying to make an overtake anywhere along the section is pretty much suicide.
You're really ballsy, you can try it down the S's. Late braking down there can work out.
You can attempt
means you have to be really close.
But you have to also have a lot of confidence that the other driver isn't going to assume you won't do that.
Yes, but in this class I think they're all pretty good drivers.
They all know each other well.
Definitely.
Some of them practice together fairly often. But they're coming down the back straight at the moment, and he seems to be pulling away out of the Forest Elbow.
Another one installing because his gap is pretty much stayed the same. They're still pushing hard. Connor's car's looking really good and clean.
Very hard indeed, as Johnny the One pretty much came out of the McPhilney Park or Reed Park, one of the two, with
just
quite
sideways.
a bit of opposite lock on as he's
sideways. Really getting that car drifting down there.
Feel like we need some house music screaming deja vu for Johnny the One right now, because he's sliding through all the corners.
Solnica's looking so smooth as ever through the last few corners down the hill. Crazy Dog just straight behind him.
Wonder what he's doing under that cockpit helmet. He's just like, he doesn't even, I don't believe he has water in that helmet. I believe it's just tea. Just iced tea under the helmet. He's driving around. 100 degrees in the car.
Fiskerton starting to pass the back markers. Coming down the hill.
He's gotten past one of them so far. Bullet's going to have to do the same in just a moment as they both come down the dipper. They're catching the back of him just about now, and the back marker very cleverly gives the racing line to the GT3 cars, not hindering their progress any further. Very courteous.
Falcon and Fino was just pushing each other. I doubt they're actually going to try and battle each other just to gain time onto the front runners.
I mean,
it'll be clever just to stick behind each other, slipstream each other, and just go for it. Me saying that, Fino is just coming out sideways next to Falcon. No, he tucks back in behind him. I think they are definitely just pushing in the laps now.
This is the BMW.
Oh, as I say that again, Fino is now next to Falcon and getting the inside lane. Oh, and just bails off at the corner.
Now, I think at this point in the race, it might be a little bit simpler for one or the other to stay out in front, and at least one of them saves a bit of fuel, while the other one kind of continues pushing them forward. And if they're just the right pace, I believe it's about, I think you'd have to be about a 3 to 5/10 difference. Or maybe it's a 2/10 difference, I'm not sure. But it'll be
if
just...
If they're gonna be battling each other, they're gonna be losing those seconds.
They're gonna be losing...
That's gonna be dear to them at the end of the race.
Yeah, it's gonna be losing a lot of time coming into the pit stop phase if they...
Looking at Manu doing a 2:03. Oh, and he's pulling up very close to Bullet at the moment, on the top of the hill.
They're both flying down that section. They're going back into McPhill Park.
I have no clue how Jono just tapped into our stream, but he's racing, getting the car sideways, drifting, and he just tapped into our stream. No clue how he's done that.
I'm not exactly sure, but
that is impressive.
Johnny's doing a pretty bang-up job so far. He's so far the
he's so
GT...
relaxed that he can type and, and race at the same time.
I mean, you got quite a lot of time on that back straight. I mean, with the level he's been sliding that car around, maybe it's just second nature to him at this point.
Most definitely.
Fiskerton seems to have passed yet another back marker, but he's about 5/10 ahead, so he's pretty much Louis Hamilton checking out of the race right now. And he's not even in a Mercedes. He's in a McLaren.
Manu really close onto Bullet now. Coming past the start finish lane.
It's got to be at least 2-3 tenths. Both going through back markers at the moment. Back marker letting them by, as per tradition. A little bit
wide, losing some time there. I don't think he'll be passing him on the front straight.
Manu going a little bit wide on the first corner, as per tradition. And we're going to see how these two fare when they catch back up to each other coming into the second section. Because it seems as if, I'm not sure if it's true, Manu's just catching up in the infield section of Bathurst, whereas Bullet's just trying to keep all of the exit speed for all of the long straightaways. Or could I be getting this wrong?
Got into a rhythm now with a 2:03, mid 2:03s pretty much.
Yeah, his last time.
He's just kept that time exactly to where it's supposed to be. I think he's just saving tires.
Well, I remember when I was going into at least the BMW in the Ginetta, specifically the Ginetta, because that's the only running time I actually did end up getting that was longer than 2 laps and then crashing. The Ginetta, at least each lap, it felt like I lost a tenth in just fuel weight, which was very interesting, because it felt like I was doing similar things, but I was just continuously losing tenths. So I believe what has happened is Fiskerton probably set the first probably 2-5 laps in a flat out pace, and then he's probably just banged himself into a rhythm in doing so, into where he's just losing times based on how far the fuel's burning off, as that BMW ducks right into the pits for, I believe, its second stop of the evening? I'm not quite sure. As we've got Bullet and Manu up together again, coming into the final corner. Same color liveried cars, however, that is in fact the livery of WRX, buddy. May have been a bit of a mix-up there. Who knows? But,
Manu's got a bit of a run this time. See if we can get close towards the hill. Maybe he can go for the uphill section.
I think he's gonna try and stack it up on the back straight again, because he's not close enough to make anything happen as of now. And we've got quite a few pit stops going on at the moment. Let's see who they are.
Okay, we're looking at the BMW's at least going to be stopping about 3 times. 4 times. We've got S-Bot trying to make his way back through the traffic again. He's behind John of the One.
And we've also got...
Pass him in the back straight. John of One immediately goes back in for the slipstream, knowing that this BMW has such a good top end and actually stick with his GT3s, which is so impressive.
It is very impressive indeed, as it looks like S-Bart just lost a bit of the rear end on entry to the corner. Looks like that car is pretty well beaten up coming down into the final corner. Only one headlight functioning at the moment. Johnny the One just following suit, not trying to get into any incidents at the time. We've got Corbs in 12th, and there seems to be a battle between Static Energy and Flying Spark. In the meantime, BMW just flying out of the way of the 2 GT3 drivers. Flying Spark all over the back of Static Energy off into the 10th position. Flies way off into the wall. Doesn't seem to have damaged that Z4 all too much. He just lost the time going so wide into that corner.
I think the back has settled in now. Everyone's got their bit of a gaps. They're just doing their pace as they in like just their comfort zone pretty much.
Dam of the Crow going a little wide on Murray Corner. His last lap, a 2:08 flat. So not in tune with his fastest lap of the race.
I'm still seeing Bulletin today. Nose to tail pretty much coming down the hill, coming down the S's into the Dipper. Really just pushing each other.
I think they may indeed be trying, at least today, might be trying to pass, but with all this time spent behind Bullet, you gotta think, how much fuel has today saved up at this phase of the race? Because I'm not sure any of the top 3 even expected to be nose to tail with anyone for this race, with how furiously they were battling for the pole position lap toward the end of qualifying. So with that in mind, and with how well they're driving and how close together they've all been driving to other cars, this might even come down to a fuel and tire race. At least for these two.
And is really close now, coming out the final corner into the first straight.
He's got a little bit of a run coming off of Hell Corner, but it seems as if it's a little bit stagnant coming down the straightaway.
I think he's doing exactly what you're saying, just saving fuel and just sticking behind him.
I don't have any telemetry for any type of throttle modulation or anything, but
I can do that definitely.
he just... It doesn't
I'll
seem
see
like
when we
he's
get to the
being
back
too
straight.
aggressive about it. As they come up on the Stance Works traffic right now, they've got two BMWs ahead of them. Track
Yes,
temperature
he's
is
using about-
skyrocketed. It's about 77 degrees from the 66, 64 we
Yes,
started
Mono's using
on.
about 80% throttle going through the hills there. I've hardly seen him go full throttle. Okay, as I speak, he's going full throttle going through. But I think that's just to get past the back markers.
We won't
I'll see now once
necessarily
he gets-
tell until he gets to the back straight.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm waiting for.
Because if we see that he catches up, and then all of a sudden starts keeping pace and he just backs out of the throttle, we know he's definitely saving fuel. If not, then I think what could be happening is just such a small pace difference that's
Be
just
some damage
enough.
with touching the walls all the time.
It could be as well.
Because I'm seeing him full throttle going behind on the back straight.
So it could be as aero damage.
Could be.
Like, he hasn't damaged the suspension bits, because it feels like if he did, he'd be having quite a lot harder, more difficult time trying to fling that McLaren around. And I think we'd see probably a drop off of 3 to 5 tenths if that were the case. But since it's so small, I think what could have happened is, because he's been scraping up against the wall, he might have on one attempt dropped some of the aero, which has given him some increased drag, and although they're about the same pace, he's not getting as much of an advantage from the slipstream as he'd like.
Definitely, I'm seeing him going full throttle.
So he's definitely not saving fuel.
No. And we're having Fiskerton just pulling out his lead, lap by lap.
He
Up
is,
to 9 seconds now.
that is some championship material right there. I'm not even sure if we're an hour into the race. He's already got a 5-second gap flying down the downhill section.
We're having a bit of a swap. Fino is now in front of Falcon.
And they're still... Oh, no, not
I don't know
quite
if he-
nose to tail. He's in some...
Oh, yeah, they're about 5
BMW
seconds away,
traffic.
so something must have happened to Falcon.
It looks as if something indeed
Falcon.
did, as his car is
Yes.
quite banged up coming down the downhill.
Oh, and there he just had a mine.
Ooh.
Oh, and hit the wall again. Yes, I think that car's a bit damaged. I think he's struggling, but he's just trying to make it through to the first pit stop section.
And Fenor's having a bit of trouble trying to get through this BMW traffic on the downhill. There's nowhere to pass, and the GT3 cars are just so much faster around the corners.
Okay, well, I think it's time for going through the list again, so let's go from top down. Do you feel like taking the top 10?
Top 10 as it follows is we've got Fiskerton, our leader for this race, coming down into the final corner. We've got Bullet off into second place. Behind him is Manu, the other McLaren GT3 driver. Very, very close to that McLaren indeed. We've got Fenor in fourth place dealing with BMW traffic. We've got Falcon in the fifth position doing a bit of the same. Some of the BMWs rushing into the pits. We've got Scoundrel in sixth. Rambo in seventh, or Remibu in seventh. We've got Dema in eighth, Stocky in ninth, and Static Energy in 10th position.
Yeah, so we have Flying Spark in 11. Closely followed by is Orbs. We have S. Bart in 13th, trying to make his way back to traffic as he had a bit of incident in the first few laps. We have Stolnikas in P14. What happened to Jono? Did he go into the pits? Jono was leading the race for the second class. Stolnikas is now in 14th. Crazy Dogs in 15th.
Johnny the one's in the
yes, I
pits.
see him. He's in the pits. Johnny the one is in the pits. We have Scott Mick in 18th. 19th we got Kursat. I'll go Kursat rather. And 20th we got Dark Angels. And 21, we got
That's
us.
the camera crew. We've got the camera crew. But it
So we only have
seems
20 drivers.
it seems as if Johnny the One has taken a fuel stop, so he's come back out in 17th.
So I think we should be maybe expecting the other BMWs to coming in for their first pit stop. We'll see how the changes happen.
As we've got Stolnikus and Crazy Dog in a bit of a race. I'm not sure if they're stopping any earlier or any later. Maybe the pace we saw from Johnny the One is he was running a little bit less fuel than the front runners.
He's outlap him.
As Stolnikus is set a 2:14.4. Johnny the One, his fastest lap is a 2:15.0 currently. And we've got Crazy Dog in 15th at the moment. He's set at 2:15.3, losing a bit of the rear end coming through the chase down into Murray Corner.
Your mic is breaking up a bit.
But we've got S-Bart in 13, still playing a bit of catch-up after his first stint incident. Scoundrel in 12th, and Corbs and Flying Spark kind of in a bit of a holding pattern until further notice. As we go back up the field, we have Remy Boo being chased down by Dama. And we've got Manu still behind Bullet within a second, I believe, coming through this second section. Almost runs into the back of him down the S's. He seems to be having a bit of a hard time behind Bullet coming down the S section as he locks up the rear end.
Yes. I think that dirty air is really playing a toll on him.
Might be messing with a bit. It might be messing with the tire wear a bit, the dirty air, as he's losing a lot of air off of the rear wing just by falling behind. I think he may be losing some off the front splitter as well. But now that I think about it, he's been running behind Bullet for all of these laps. Would his engine temperature go up as well, because he's got all of the hot, dirty air coming off of the back of the car in front, going through his radiator at the moment?
Could be, but I think that back straight and just cool it down. Unless he's solidly in the slipstream, we'll see. I don't know yet. But as we know, these P-Cars engineers are so quick in changing an engine. Doesn't really matter, eh?
It doesn't really at all. Though, if he was losing that much time from engine cooling issues, we'd probably see some puffs of smoke coming out of the back of his car at the moment. He'd definitely not have the straight line speed if that were the case. As he's gone up the inside of Bullet! Bullet's lost the rear end! He's spun off into the wall! He's recovered it nicely and gone back into the wall once again. So we've got Today off into second P2 and Bullet off down into P3.
Oh, and Bullet just trying to turn it around. Straight into the wall again. Hit his nose straight into the wall, just waiting for the traffic to come past.
And
there's a bit of a gap and hits it again into the wall.
And that's Bullet down into the 5th position as a BMW flying down the hill.
That's Jono going sideways again.
Deja vu.
That car is pretty banged up right now.
That's definitely going to require some mechanics. Of course, he shouldn't have to worry too much. The mechanics should get him up within about a minute. Swap out the engine, swap out the suspension, change the bodywork parts. Only takes a minute. Because Project Cars logic. That's That's definitely going to hamper his race, though. He was looking in for a solid podium result, but now he's down into 5th place. Just that one little costly mistake in the infield section. Relatively unusual section to lose the rear end onto. We've seen another car do it as well. And that goes to show it's a race.
Does not come into the pits.
I guess he believes
He thinks
the car's fine.
the car is pretty good, yes.
He might have a bunch of drag, but I guess the suspension hasn't been banged up too much.
I think he might be just giving it a lap to see how much time he's lost and push on.
But now we have today about at least 13 seconds behind P1.
Yes, exactly 13 seconds. With S-Bot, no, that's the second class. Phenol.
Fenor's off into
Yes, Phenol in 3rd.
and he's only about 4 seconds off.
Trying to work that up now. My telemetry can't pick it up because we have a cat 13 seconds. There we go. 13 seconds behind today, and then we have Falcon, which is 17 seconds.
So we've got 17, 13, and 20?
Yes. I think the telemetries are getting a bit messed up because of the slow runners and the BMWs in between.
Yeah. But that McLaren of Bullet does not look too well at the moment. He had quite a bit of bounce coming through the S's. Almost went straight on. Not sure if he's going to stop in for a pit stop at the moment, but such a shame.
I see Remy Boo really struggling with the BMWs around him. No traffic, trying to get away through. But he's got Dom of the Crow straight up his arse, trying to get a pass on him.
And we've also
As Remy
got
Boo passes the slow marker.
we've got Stelnicus trying not to die in a battle between the GT3 cars, and we've got another BMW who's just pleasantly driven himself off the track properly, just not to get caught up in this bit of a family feud between a Rough and Z4, flying down the straightaway 180 miles an hour. Stalnikus is now into the pits, looking at Crazy Dog. Crazy Dog is off into the pits as well. We've got 7. He's coming down the downhill. He's going down the back straightaway. And Johnny the One is doing a bit of the same. And he's been pretty much rear-ended by Scott Meek. Well, not Scott Meek, but one of the McLaren drivers. Scoundrel.
Yes, Scoundrel.
Not sure if he's going to like that too much.
Let's see how he comes out when Stolnikus comes out the pits. Stolnikus is still lying in the pits at the moment.
They're both currently in the pits. It's about a race to whoever's first. Not sure if Stolnikus or Crazy Dog's going to get the lead off of this one. It's going to be all dependent on their pit strategy. Crazy Dog is out of the pits.
Crazy Dog pulls away and Stolnikus pulls away.
Just
and
got
John
ahead
the
of...
One just takes over. John the One is in the first corner.
And Stolnikus and Crazy Dog are now coming out of the first... It was...
No, it was not John the One. John the One is just overtaking Stolnikus. Has a bit of a run, so he might just take over Crazy Dogs.
Actually, Crazy Dog seems to be quite a bit ahead of John the One. And so far, 7 is currently taking the lead for the BMW stance work class as the McLarens are trying to make it through all of this traffic that's currently battling for position. One of the McLarens losing the rear end, the other McLaren getting a bit confused at the BMW giving room and then taking room and then giving room again. Both McLarens hounding the back of the BMW driver. And we've got one McLaren right into the wall.
Remembering the John of the One might be running low fuel right now because he's already pitted quite a while ago. But his tyres also should be wearing off. And he's going in for the inside, down the dipper. He bailed out the idea.
Crazy Dog. Johnny the One.
John of the One just overtakes... Is it?
No, it's Crazy
no,
Dog.
It's not.
They're in
no,
the
it's
same
not.
livery.
Crazy Dog.
So, then Crazy Dog is the 63, and Johnny the One is the number 12. So Johnny the One is now sat behind Crazy Dog, who had just came out of a pit stop. And they're both coming past another BMW who's currently being lapped yet again.
Oh, John of the One! Off into the grass. Okay, he saved it.
I think Johnny the One's not only a drifter,
used to
he
those power sliding. Yes.
fancies a bit of rally.
A 7 goes into the pits right now.
We've got another McLaren on the back of Johnny the One. It looks as if that might indeed be Fiskerton or WRX, buddy. I don't think he's even in the session. So
It's today.
It is indeed today.
But John of the One has got a good run up on Crazy Dog. Might be ballsy enough. Going for the
might
outside.
just get it done as he's drifted it around the outside into turn
So
2
good.
and stolen the move from Crazy Dog.
On the outside. That takes balls. Well done to him.
I have not seen that move done in a long time indeed. In fact, the last time I seen this move done was on this track. It was, I believe it was the same drivers, Gosu Noob on Crazy Dog, and an M1 Pro car just flew it around the outside and got the job done. Well, Johnny the One has done just about the same thing, except he's done it a bit more style. He's drifted it around the outside in
well done by him.
in initial D fashion and managed to take a position. So, hats off to Johnny the One for providing us with this glorious drifting entertainment right now.
Okay, did Fiskerton pit or something? Because I'm seeing that 18 or 19 second lead drop down to 12.
Yeah, on my timing screen I got about
13.9.
20. So I think my timing's screwing up just a little bit.
Fiskerton's coming down to the final corner. And Manu is
Coming down to the final
corner.
So
Definitely something might have happened.
And looking at Fiskerton's car, there's nothing inherently wrong with it at the moment, which leads me to believe he's taken his first pit stop. As today is not sure if he's taken his first pit stop as well either. Falcon trying to get through all of the BMWs coming through the field. Stalnikus letting him by.
His car has seen better days, pretty much. Falcon's car has seen better days.
Way better days. He's got a cracked windshield. Should be fixed right up in 3 seconds. Just pop it out and duct tape another one on. We've got Fenor. He's off into the 4th position, and his car just looks like it's in odd colors. I think his mechanics probably started spray painting the car in black paint because they got tired of fixing it. And that's how that's going to go for a little bit. And we've got Ramy Boo battling with some BMWs in his Porsche.
I'm seeing Corbs P11 going backwards by the dipper, trying to make a U-turn, but he's lying in the middle of the track.
That's not good. That's
He
not,
just slammed it around the corner, and there we go.
At least nobody got caught up into a secondary accident. But we still have a battle between Ramiboo and Dana the Crow going up the hill currently. Got Stocky in the 7th position. Ramiboo having a little bit of difficulty in the braking zone for the cutting. They're now going to go through Griffin's Mount and Reed Park. Very quick, very fast set of corners indeed. The Z4 seems to be having a way easier time, struggling a lot less with understeer. As I say that, he's tapped the outside wall. They're going to come down through the S's now. BMW had a little bit of a front left lockup coming down the hill. Front left under-rotated just a little bit. As one of the McLarens in the back is having a bit of a lag fest of its own. But they're going to come through the final corner now. Z4 carrying as much speed as physically possible to try and catch to the back of Ramiboo. No success currently. I'm not sure if the Z4 is known much for top end.
Yeah, I think that Porsche is known for its top end. That's why I picked it, but it's really struggling on the hills where the BMW can just pull it back.
Indeed, we've got Stocky comfortably in the 7th position, following behind the BMW, having a bit of trouble under braking. There's quite a bit of wobble there going up the hill, and he cleanly passes around the outside, maintaining 7th place. Meanwhile, Bullet off in the 8th position currently, so he's gone down the order quite a bit. And his damaged McLaren, I think he's going to try and stretch it out to his next pit stop. But he seems to be catching up nicely to the back of Stocky at the moment. We'll have to see. Static Energy closely behind that. So this might shape up to be some type of battle as well.
Good three-way battle, could be.
Could be indeed. I believe we've rounded out our GT3 cars. We've got Esbart trying to unlap himself, I believe, from the Porsche. So we've got the Porsche of Ramiboo under immense pressure from Bart, who's clearly got a McLaren that has seen way better days in the series. But
Esbart is just trying to come back.
As we've got another car rejoining the track in front of Ramiboo.
Oh, as I said, Ramiboo just hit the wall. Now we have Dahmer straight up behind him. But I think that Porsche is going to pull out on the back straight again.
And that McLaren's going to stay ahead of the Porsche, I believe, on the back straight. So we have one McLaren fall back behind the 3. I believe that was that of Static Energy.
I think Esbart is still a lap down, isn't he?
Indeed, as we've got Bullet on Stocky for a move up the inside on the back straightaway. Successfully done fairly easily up the inside. It seems like they have a different downforce configuration going on there. As Stocky comes around the corner, tucking in behind Bullet to see if he can hold on to the 8th place, possibly.
And we have Jono the One still leading the second class with Crazy Dogs right behind him, pushing him hard, going through the top of the hill.
I've had the pleasure with racing with Crazy Dogs a few times before the RSR event, and I do have to say this one quick and consistent driver when it comes to any type of touring car or LMP car. So
we have Jono the One, which is pretty much the same. Very inconsistent, can be very quick, or sometimes just loses the car and takes it straight into the wall. So we'll see. And at this moment in time, he's putting down very quick laps and doing really good.
But the pressure is on, as Crazy Dog is still within about 4/10 of Johnny the One.
Jono likes that little flick into that last follow through.
He's been flicking quite a lot. I'm not sure what his tires are doing for wear at the moment.
We're having Crazy Dog going for a little bit of a peek on the second last corner. The last corner.
Yeah, he's got it.
Could have a bit of a run on him right now.
He's definitely thinking about it. Going down the front straightaway at the moment.
Impressive if we see the opposite happening right now. Crazy Dog taking Johnny the One to the outside.
I think Johnny the One's gonna try and block that one. He doesn't.
Yeah, he's blocked the outside.
He doesn't want to be embarrassed again. He's like, nah, I don't want you coming back at me with the same move. I gave you the idea. Now I'm keeping it to myself.
Some close battling happening though.
Indeed.
Especially the car. I was supposed to drive this car tonight, and the turn-in is horrible in this car. So I think Jono's got it down by just giving it a little bit of extra flick into the corners, and he's driving it well.
That Kimi Räikkönen Scandinavian flick coming into each corner, holding the rear end sliding on the exit. Four-wheel drift for the win.
We have Dom the Crow into the pits. We have Bullets into the wall again.
And we've got today, we've got Manu up into first place at the moment. I believe Fiskerton has headed into the pits. So it is up for today to set a blistering lap time to see if he could try the overcut on Fiskerton for the first stint race win. Fiskerton should have a pretty solid pit stop advantage with the amount of time he was putting in early race. We've got Falcon gone ahead of him as well.
We have Bullet struggling getting back to pits. His car suspension is pretty much gone.
Yeah,
coming down the hill.
It looks very bouncy. Looks as if the shocks are just blown.
He hit the wall very solid. That car looks like it needs to come into the pits.
That car looks like it needs to be thrown into the scrapyard for a night. Just
not after P-Cars engineers, but engineers, they'll fix it up straight away.
Put a band-aid on it, it'll be fine.
We have Static.
We have Falcon.
Passing Bullet now.
Just had a bit of a spin coming into turn number 3. And Fiskerton is now heading up the hill as today is coming down the back straight, the Conrad straight into the chase. So
let's see if Manu comes into the pits, and we'll see how it happens. Manu can put out maybe 1 or 2 more laps. He could pull a little bit of a lead, or pull a little bit closer gap on Fiskerton. So we'll see how it happens.
It's going to be a bit touch and go since Fiskerton's already headed to the pits, but he's decided not to head into the pits this lap. He's going to continue on, but he's going to get caught behind the BMWs coming into this next lap, which could play a factor in the strategy game for pit stops, because it could slow him down just enough to where the overcut might just not work. Same thing can be said for Fiskerton, as he's stuck behind Crazy Dog and Johnny the One coming down the hill. And he's just cleared them at the moment in the McLaren coming out of the final corner. Fenor just behind the 2 BMWs.
I still can't believe the pace of this BMW M1s. They are so fast on that back straight, just sticking with the GT3s.
I don't know what type of engine they have in those BMWs, but it's definitely on some roids.
We have S-Bot coming on to Flying Spark at the moment. Down to the last corner.
And goes to show, S-Bart is doing a really good job at trying to unlap himself.
Most definitely.
Like, S-Bart definitely has the pace to be pretty far up there if he's caught up to...
Going for the outside.
Provisionally 9th place. Oh no, 10th place now.
And he's passed. S-Bart has passed Flying Spark.
This might be the charge of the race.
Could be, could be.
This could be like
maybe a top 5, but I doubt he's going to be in the top 3.
Let's see.
A long way to go though, so...
Yeah, he could definitely make it up to the top 5. If something else happens, he could definitely take the top 4, but the top 3 has just been so consistent this time around. I don't think he's going to make it.
Anu again has not pitted and decided to go another lap. Don't know how much juice that car's got left, but we'll see how it goes.
And it seems like Fiskerton's catching up just a little bit. Because he's coming down the downhill.
Tires, I'm sure.
He's coming down the downhill now. He's just made the final corner onto the back straight. And Falcon's just come out of the back straight. And today has just gone through the first. So it might be working into his favor just a little bit.
I think the newer tires might be helping Fiskerton.
They're helping him, but...
As I'm seeing Manu's actually struggling for grip in the uphill.
Yeah, but he's still got quite a decent way ahead of Fiskerton at the moment. Depending on how long his pit stop is, he could definitely make it work toward the end of the race. Just a bit of...
We're seeing Flying Spark getting pushed away by the two leading BMWs.
Oh my lord! They're side by side now. It's a drag race between a BMW and a Z4. Z4 wins on acceleration. The BMW's trying to get it through the corner.
BMWs have such a good top end. They were actually going past Flying Spark.
And we're getting halfway down the straight, and Corbs and Johnny the One were side by side for a brief moment. They're now clear going up the hill. Just finding this hilarious. We're having like a race between tiny little BMWs and these huge GT3 cars with tons of downforce. Compared to the BMWs, that is.
As soon as it comes on the back on the any of the straights, the little BMWs just pull them in.
The little BMW that could. It's like a fairy tale. But we still got Crazy Dog and Johnny the One still driving within a second of each other. At this point, it's as if the other isn't there. They're just kind of doing their own thing. Unless they're teammates, then that makes sense.
Crazy Dog and John are the ones running the same liveries.
They could be teammates.
And they're putting...
BMW 1-2. Stolnikas is down into 3rd. He's trying to catch up to the rest of the pack. No damage on that car so far that I can remember, ever.
He's smooth running it. A little bit of damage on the right hand side, but not much. Yes, it comes to the back straight, and John of the One is just pulled up with Corpse pretty much again, and here we go.
Oh, Johnny the One's gone right into the pits. And it's now up to Crazy Dog to set the lap time to see if he can get ahead in pit strategy. Of course, he's got a little bit more life left in his tires because he stopped a bit earlier. A bit later,
still not
actually.
pitted. Falcon has still not pitted.
How much fuel were they carrying for the first stint of that race?
Don't know. That must be topped up. Maybe that's why Fiskerton was actually pulling away in the beginning.
We've got 31-32 laps remaining. We're currently on lap 30. So really 30 laps remaining, but telemetry is a bit weird. I think it counts at -1, so we really have about 31 laps remaining.
John of the one's about to come out the pits. And still Nikas is coming past the start finish line. John of the one is still lying P2. That's impressive.
It's very impressive indeed. That's quite a
full free pit stop, yeah. Onto P3.
That's quite a lead coming out of the what is probably
I think we
for
might
their
be seeing
cars
the same
for
thing
fourth.
happening with it. Might be seeing the same thing happening with Biscuiton though. I'm guessing when today and them coming to the pits, Biscuiton will retain his first position.
Well, today is halfway through the first sector. Well, halfway through the track, and so we're going to count it now. That's start finish, and today is a little bit behind because he just got through the downhill section. So Fiskerton, I believe, has gotten a full free pit stop.
Yeah. Really interesting to find out when he does do his pit stop and see what the gap will be.
Unless today is trying to kill an entire pit stop.
Never know. He could have saved a little fuel behind Bullet, riding lap after lap.
And then he could have also tried to kill a pit stop off his time, which might put him just on par with Fiskerton, but that's risky because if that's the case and Fiskerton's running a default strategy, wouldn't that put today on worse tires toward the end of the race?
Don't know. We'll see. Depends if he comes in for a quick change.
Depends on how long his stop will be. If there's no
By the looks
muck-ups
of it-
with his stop, he could make
By the looks
something
of
of
it-
it.
Oh, but by the looks of it, these tires are actually holding up.
They're holding out
Watching him
quite
coming
well.
into the mountain section. Oh no, that's smooth.
Could Fiskerton have
Yes.
misjudged the stop just a little?
Look into his telemetry though for today. I do see the fuel light flashing, so he could be going low now. And he's running about a half a second slow off his time, so he might be losing some time.
Yeah, I've got a fuel light as well. He's lifting and coasting
Falcons
definitely.
into the pits.
That puts Fiskerton up into second place.
Biscuiton's car is looking absolutely amazing. Not a scratch on that car. With Pino following close behind Fiskerton actually.
Has Fiskerton
Right.
toned it back a little?
Don't know.
Or was the pit stop just that quick? Or did Fiskerton get a bad pit stop? But today's still going.
Energy and Bullet into the pits.
And that's going to put them, I believe, a lap down.
Crazy Dogs is running first in the second class pretty much. He's on the first straight and Jono's on the back straight, so definitely if they pit, Jono will be taking over. Pace up.
Unless... I'm not 100% sure what's going on here. We've
Yeah, so-
got...
We've got Crazy Dogs running at 2 minutes 15.3 and we have John of the One running at 2:15.044.
Got Ramy Boo, just got past Stant Works.
Got Bullet coming out of the pits now.
Yeah, but if we look at the last time, Johnny the One is like 3 seconds off. The last time that Johnny the One set was about a 2:18.2, but Crazy Dog still in the 2:16s. So that's quite interesting. Actually, with that information in mind, if we look at the times between Fiskerton and today, Fiskerton is setting a 2:03.9 for last lap, but today is still in the mid 2:04s. He's about a 2:04.6.
He's having some trouble with the back markers. Past them right arm.
And it seems like Fiskerton's about to run into the same problem. So let's see if today's going to pit while Fiskerton's still having some issues.
And today he's on the left hand side. And he's going into the pits.
He's going into the pits.
Today is going into the pits.
We're going on board.
Oh, and he's wrapped around. But yes, he's made it into the pits.
And someone's off into the turn. It looks like a stance works. But we've got Fiskerton stuck behind a lapped car. And the stance works. And he's almost got run off the track. Could this be just enough what today needs to just get out of the pits and catch up to Fiskerton? Because we're about to come on to the back straight.
I'll be watching today. You watch Fiskerton, I'll be watching today.
He's still stuck in traffic. He's stuck behind the two cars. The BMWs like moved out of the way, but now he's stuck behind the GT3 car. He's getting the toe off the GT3 car. He's running up the inside. He's got a nose there. Let's see how it goes. And he's gotten out of the way. GT3 car's gotten out of the way. Fiskerton is now coming through the chase. He's on the run up to the final corner as we speak. He's going to come around the final corner now onto the front stretch. And if we look right over, today is still stuck, sat straight in the pits.
He's still stuck.
So, definitely going to transition over to Fiskerton Fenor. And that is one long pit stop for today. So, they've got a BMW stuck. We got a BMW stuck in the first quarter, it looks as if.
Hey, today's been released. He's lying in P3 now. Fenor second. Fiskerton regaining his position. Position number 1. And I would like to see the time in between. That would be insane. 22 seconds. So Fiskerton has held his position.
And he's gained about a second or two. But just to clarify what that traffic did to Fiskerton's, last time under traffic was about a 2:07.2.
They lost about 3 seconds?
Yeah.
4 seconds?
3-4 seconds. Could have been a little worse, but not sure if it could have been any better with the point at which he caught the GT3 in the stance.
I still think maybe Fenor needs to go into the pits. As I've used telemetry and I do see fuel light burning.
Has he not pit yet?
I don't think so.
It's interesting. Because he's now having a battle with another McLaren in the orange. I believe that could indeed be Stocky.
That's a slow marker.
That's indeed Stocky. He's off in the 8th position. And it seems as if he's getting lapped by the number 3 car. He's not fighting him too much. He's just letting him straight on by. Applies a little bit of the brake to ensure that he gets by. And he almost runs to the back of him. Very close indeed.
Ooh, that was
very close.
I think let's go through the field again. I'll be starting the top 10. So, in first place we have Fiskerton, followed by Fenor, which we believe that he still needs to go into the pits to fill up. We have today lying in P3, Falcon in P4, Ramiboo in P5. He's pushing his way up. He was lying in P8 earlier, so he's doing pretty well for himself. We have Dom the Crow in P6. Bullet in P7. He's been having a little bit of issues with that car, having some slides and some turnarounds, but He's going back. He's doing good. We have Stocky in P8, followed closely by Static Energy, really pushing him. We have S-Bot in P10, coming back from last all the way to P10, and is actually on the same lap as the leaders, so that's really impressive. Okay, you can take the rest.
We've got Flying Spark off into P number 11 after losing a few positions in the opening laps. We have Corbs into P12. Was running higher up in the midfield around P number 7, but did have a bit of an incident in which he had to turn around a couple times to get the car started. He's now entering the pits. We've got Crazy Dog first in class in P number 13. Did have to battle with the likes of Stel, Nikas, and Johnny the One, but he's managed to come out on top so far. He's in P number 13. Nikas is off into P number 14. He's taken second place from John the One, who is currently not here. So I believe John the One may have retired 2 pits. We have 7 in 15th place. He's just destroyed the car. 7 has totaled the car. He's lost a wheel.
I have Johnny the One that just messaged me right now and says, "Damn mate, I hit a brick wall." I think his car is gone.
Yeah, we have 7 he just hit a brick wall as well. So 7 looks
could be
like
something happening on
he
that track.
might be out of the race as well. He's going really slowly down the hill. Not sure if he's actually going to make it to the pits. But that is a huge hazard, trying to drive that BMW down through the end of the lap at the moment.
He hasn't even got a right tire.
Yeah, he slammed straight into the wall, at least 100, 120 going down through the S's. We've got a McLaren coming through. Hopefully he misses him. And we've got Scott Mick. He's down into P number, I think, 5 for the class, because we've got
has
3.
Jono actually
4.
retired?
I believe he has, because I saw him spawn out in turn 1 while we were on board with today's onboard, and I didn't know what had happened. I didn't know which of the drivers it was, but apparently it was Johnny the One, because after his car just disappeared, and considering that message we just got, I guess that's race over for Johnny the One, our drift king for the evening.
Yep, I see him in the garage. That's a pity. He was doing really well.
Very well indeed. He was the main source of entertainment.
We have Scoundrel also in the box. Also gone.
And we've got Dark Angels setting 226s around the back, making way for the rest of the cars coming through. And for some reason, Johnny the One, no, that's Kursat. I don't know why it said Johnny the One for Kursat's car. We've got 7 still driving down the back straight without a wheel.
That's a trooper. That's a trooper.
Such a trooper. He's like, I have to make this car back. No red flags or yellow flags in this series, so good luck, 7. Hopefully that car gets back before the engine explodes. We'll find out sooner or later. But right as of this moment, we have...
That moves Solnikas into second position, with Crazy Dogs leading the second field.
Which kind of turns this race on its head a little bit. Because it looked as if, with the way qualifying went, Stolnikas was definitely going to have it. Then Johnny the One took... Well, I'm not sure if it was Johnny the One or Crazy the Dog took it. I forget how qualifying went now. Actually, now that I think about it.
Stolnikas P1, I'm not mistaken, I think it was Crazy Dog and then Jono.
Okay, so
Jono
got pipped at the last of qualifying for second place by Crazy. So Johnny went down to third. And then Stolnikas looked like he was going to be set up for the race. And then somewhere in the first stint, he went down to third as well.
Manu is absolutely flying. Dealing through these traffic so easily on the top of the hill.
As Crazy Dog almost hit the stricken BMW flying down the straightaway. At least it looked that way. And he's currently going toward the final corner. Meanwhile, the little BMW that could is still trying to make it down the main straight to the pits.
He's trooping along. I got a lot of respect for people like that.
He's definitely off of the track just to make sure that no incidents take place over the course of the race. Hopefully he doesn't get stuck. That would be a real shame.
Especially on that half-line corner.
Yeah. That would kind of hurt for me, because he's just trying so hard to get that BMW. But now that I say it, with the grade of the hill, how is he going to get up the grass?
I have no clue.
We've
I'll
got
move to the left-hand side.
possibly. We've got Static Energy on Stocky at the moment for 8th position. He's gaining quite a massive toe on Stocky at the moment. Right now I can see the individual LEDs on the back of Stocky's bumper from Static's point of view. As we go up the uphill section now, Stocky getting a little bit of either sideways or frame drop. Not quite sure, I can tell. But they're currently both going up the second sector. Static having a bit difficulty coming up the hill. And they're following each other quite closely for the last few laps.
Well, we have a PRD guy running the stock livery, and we have an RSR running PRD livery. Static.
What do we do then? Well, I know Static's in both, but
Static's in a PRD livery.
yeah,
Me? What is it for you?
he's in a PRD livery, but I know he does both of them. It's actually a
Yes.
livery of his own design, if I take it right, because it still says Static Energy on the front of the car. Let's
Oh,
see.
yes, I see that now.
Aha! So,
Yes. I'm bird.
America! As Stocky actually seems to have pulled a gap on the straightaway. I'm not sure what happened. And then Static closes it back up. So is Static just running lower downforce for this race?
See? The hill.
Because at the end of the straightaway, he just closed straight up. And BMW's finally made it to pit lane! He's done
He's
it!
crossed over safely.
Wow!
What a trooper. What a trooper.
Hold on, I have to see this. 7 somehow
7.
has made it back to the pits. It's like, no, I will
almost
not
there.
return to pits by button. I will drag this car back from hell.
And the pits has taken over his car. There we go.
I find it funny how you can drive that fast in the pits, not everywhere else.
Once the air takes over, automatically gives him four tires.
Alright.
And he's got his 4 tires and getting his repair done.
Alright, let's see how this goes. I think he's trying to keep up from 17th place. And I guess he's going to try and a comeback charge in the last 23 laps of the Grand Prix. So, we'll see.
And we got Dark Angel behind him. Even though he took that slow lap, we have Dark Angel struggling behind him coming on the back straight. Seven's car's just been released.
Really? That is the
yes,
fastest pit stop for a smashed up car and a lost wheel that I've ever seen. What? People can't even take
retains the
fuel and
17.
tires that fast. Why? Oh, Project Cars, we love you.
Can't believe it, but Fenor is still trooping along in P2.
It was very interesting to see.
light is still on, and he's still going.
It looks as if today is about a minute behind. And Feanor's still 10 seconds behind. This is very interesting indeed. So we've got Feanor 10 seconds behind, and we have today about...
Which is 10 seconds behind. 15 seconds behind Feanor. And then he has Falcon, which is 1 lap down, with Bullet in chase with 38 seconds behind Falcon.
And down to the Crow slamming into a wall.
1.8 seconds.
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
That car has good air vents in front now.
I think the downforce of Damas Krar has increased, and its drag has decreased. That's how that goes when you smash up a car, right?
I would guess so.
But Stocky's driven like a clean race all race, which hats off to him. Not many people have done that today, especially that Porsche.
Well, both Fiskerton's and Feanor's car is absolutely in a great and clean car pretty much at the moment. No scratches, no bumps. Look at those two cars. Perfect.
Wow. They haven't actually really scratched much of anything this entire race.
Feanor's into the pits. Feanor
Alright.
is into the pits. We'll see now where today will be lying.
Actually today's like coming right past him. Because he's just past the pit lane.
Oh! GT3 just spinning around there. Who is that?
That was Espart. He's retired.
He's retired.
He's retired. He had a really big incident coming out of that final quarter. He was pushing so hard for the last 20-30 laps that just lost it. Final corner. Went straight into the wall.
So unlucky. He's had such an unlucky race this race.
Indeed, we've already lost 3 contenders from the race so far. Well, actually 2. 2 contenders from the race so far. No, no, it's still 3.
Correct. It is 3. It is 3. It's Scoundrel, John of the One, and now we just had
Espart. Okay. No, it didn't register Espart on the bottom, so I was just looking through for the track list.
Yeah, I think he's a few laps ahead still.
Feanor is now coming out of the pits. He's going to rejoin in about 4th behind this wounded McLaren up front.
Manu has just done a sneaky pass on Stocky. On the S's, on the downhill, he just took the left-hand lane and went straight down into the dipper.
Pretty sure the driver's going to be scratching his head. It's like, was that a pass or was I sleeping?
I think he was very slow, and today just really wanted to pass.
He was just like, yeah, not today, fam. I'm here for the podium. I can't do this.
He does a little bit of a fakie towards the pit entry.
Yeah. Falcons come out in about P3.
Maybe just double thinking himself. Thinking, should he pit now for the last 20 laps or not?
Maybe he's like has strategy going down in his head. Fiskerton's just like, give me win or give me death.
Doing really well.
He's been doing really well all weekend. He was first in practice, first in qualifying, and now he's first in the race. He's pretty much just locked out all 3 sessions. Purple sector after purple sector.
Bullet was also putting out some great times. Now he's lying in P5, trying to claw back his way
up the field toward Fenor if he can, which if Fenor makes a mistake, which doesn't look likely at the state of his car right now.
I think Fenor's already went into the pits and out, so I think he's set for the race now. He'll finish the race in this position.
Unless Fenor gets murdered into one of the turns, Bullet's kind of sat in 5th at this point.
Not the way his car's looking. His car's really good and clean. I think he's been racing a good race.
A very good race, so unless he gets murdered by somebody else, unless he gets Rosberged, he's going to sat in 4th. Or 3rd. Depends on what happens. Falcon, currently in 3rd.
P3.
And just scratched the outside wall!
Car's a bit damaged.
Yeah.
Surprising because he's our little alien and he's struggling a bit there.
Well, I mean, this track is like a very difficult one for, I believe, anyone on the calendar, which it has shown. Our little alien Bullet has succeeded in crashing his car in the 2nd sector, and our second little alien, Fiskerton, is gone. So, though Fiskerton's a bit of a new alien. He didn't always used to be an alien. He was abducted when he was a child. They gave him the space drugs, and he ended up...
We have Crazy Dogs pulling about a 36 seconds lead on Stolnikas.
Boy! And they're currently in this weird state between, do I pass the BMW or do I not pass the BMW? Crazy Dog's definitely going to be chuffed if he keeps this up.
Yeah, Crazy Dogs is doing well.
Very well indeed.
Pity about Jono. Jono was putting out some great times as well, but...
Until he died!
Unlucky for him. Yep, he had an invisible wall and blew up his car.
Oh, I hate invisible walls so much. They're just so... They're so sneaky. You think you're all set, and then your car explodes, and you're like, oh well.
Happened to me quite a few times.
I feel like landmines are the only thing worse than invisible walls. You come out of the corner, and then your car does a backflip, and you don't know what happened.
We have 19 laps left over. There's still Fiskerton leading the race, followed by Today, which is undecisive when he wants to go into the pits or not. If he can make these 19 laps or not, I don't know.
If he can, that'd be interesting, because if Fiskerton has one more stop, that puts him in the net lead.
That could be.
And if that's the case, this race has now gotten interesting for the last 18 laps. How far away from each other again is Today like a minute behind?
20 seconds.
20 seconds.
22 now. 22 seconds.
So they've been holding this 22 second the 22
Pretty
second
much lap after lap.
Huh. This 22
Actually,
second
Manu's now
pattern.
pulling up. See a 16 seconds now on Manu. Maybe
oh yeah, 16 and a half, yeah.
Yeah, it's 16 now. Maybe Fiskerton had some trouble on the uphill through some traffic.
His last time was about a 2:05.
And I think Manu's now having that exact problem with the BMW in front of him. And he's losing back down to that 22.
Oh no! It almost happened.
Oh, he's past him. But yes, he's lost some time. He's down to a 17.4. And he's on the rough.
19.
I think
19.
Yeah. Yep,
18.
He's lost that time. Yep, he's lost that time again. He was down to 15 seconds. He's lost 3 seconds. Yep, back to 22.5.
I still got 18 on my end.
No, I'm just seeing it climb on mine. So 30 seconds.
Mine's is still climbing. But it says the gap behind Fiskerton is about 19 seconds. But when I look at today, it's like the gap ahead is 19 seconds, the gap behind is a minute. So Falcon seems to be about a minute.
Oh, I see. Yes.
Falcon seems to be about a minute from today. And Fenor seems to be about 5 seconds behind Falcon. And Bullet is about 29 seconds behind anyone in the top 4.
Well, 17 laps left over. And claw his way back. Maybe another one position. I think Falcon still needs to go onto the pits.
And Fiskerton's losing some time to lap traffic. He lost about a 10th there. Another 10th tapping the wall. No, make that 2. He's just gliding along, he is. Let's see what's going on with Stocky. Static Energy's finally gotten around Stocky. And now Stocky's getting chased down by Ramibu. In the
Could be a good
Porsche.
little battle.
And he seems to be catching up at quite a rate. He's now within about a second. He's in DRS range of Stocky.
This Porsche is not that great on the uphill, or should I say rough. Rough is not good on the uphill, but definitely on the back straight. You'll maybe see Remy Boots pulling up on Stocky on that back straight.
If he keeps within a second of Stocky, that Porsche is going to pretty much DRS him down the straight. It's going to be like rear wing engaged and just zoom in a straight line.
Got a good exit coming out of there.
8 tenths is the gap has come down to. Now it's 9. Yeah, he didn't quite.
No, it wasn't enough.
That turbo, that VTEX kicked in. Flying Spark is now sat into the pits in the 10th position. Corbs is down in 11th, and he's coming down to the final corner just about now. So we'll see where he ends up in relation to Flying Spark as the pit stop phase comes into play, as Flying Spark's leaving the pits, and Corbs is now just starting final straightaway, so no, not
definitely
really.
Flying Spark's got it.
Crazy Dog is just ahead of, I believe, Static Energy off behind him in the McLaren. Or is that Bullet? That looks as if it's Bullet.
Which one?
Crazy Dog in the McLaren
Crazy
going
Dog.
down the hill. I think that was Bullet because he's just flown down the inside.
Could be.
Go on, Bullet.
Yes,
yeah,
it was.
yes, indeed.
Yes, it was. Oh, Crazy Dog has Fiskerton behind him. Try and look for that pass. Crazy Dog's blocking him off there a little bit. Oh, and there's Crazy Dog left the inside open for Fiskerton. Fiskerton carries on.
So Fiskerton up to lap his season rival, Bullet, in the 5th position.
Wow.
Again. This is going to be the second time he's been lapped. Because currently there's only 4 people on the lead lap. And Bullet's not one of them.
Two of them, I'm suspecting that they need to go pit. I am still thinking that today and Falcon needs to pit.
Today had a very nice entry coming through the chase.
I can remember though, Manu did say that he can do it in one pit stop.
And he's only pit
I think
one
that
so
Fiskerton
far.
needs another pit stop.
I'm not sure. I haven't heard
very early.
I haven't heard much from Fiskerton.
Look at
He pit at least 10 laps before managing.
Yeah.
So, pit stop
Well,
battle?
if he needs to pit, that's going to change up things very drastically.
Indeed, because if he needs to pit, he might end up, if he's
He'll
only
definitely be
16
second.
seconds ahead, he will end up,
Yeah.
he'll end up in second. 'Cause
Second, maybe third.
third's
No,
a minute behind.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
So he'll end up somewhere around second. He's safe to
But a
end up
splash and
second.
dash could maybe work.
It could, but
Today is going through the traffic so quick.
it's just that even if the splash and dash does work, he's still not in the pit stop window of time.
Yeah.
He'd have to have at least 20, 30 seconds. He's now close to 15.
13 on my telemetry. 15.
Yeah, I'm getting close to 15.9 right now.
Yeah, if I look at Fiskerton, it says 22 seconds. If I look at Manu, it is 15 seconds. So weird.
When I look at Manu, it says 16 to the next car, and when I look at Fiskerton, it says 16 to the next car, and when I look at Falcon, I see a minute 7, which is strange. We've got Fenor, and he's about 4 seconds behind Falcon. Bullet is about 30 seconds clear of anybody at all. He's 31 behind. He's got 31 to the car behind him, and he's got 33 to the car ahead of him. And we've still got this battle going on between Static Energy and Stocky. This has been going on all race.
It's good racing.
This entire race has been between Stocky and Static Energy. The man who said he'd have a hell of a lot of trouble going through a 2-hour race has not only almost no scratches on his car, but has been battling all race with Static Energy for the 6th position. Well done, I say. Well done. Static Energy now trying to stretch out the legs for the last stint, but not sure how well that's going to follow through at this point. Ramibu is actually 35 seconds ahead of the next car, but he's only 2 seconds behind Stocky. So he's still well within the mix in case one of these two or both of these two screw up.
Yeah.
Dama's about 35 seconds behind, and he's got no one in contention for him at the moment. And Flying Spark is last in the GT3 class currently. And he would have to make up about 10 seconds and about 14 laps to get for the 10th position to gain, in Formula 1 terms, he'd gain a single point. We've got Crazy Dog 3 minutes ahead of Stalnikus.
Yeah, no, he's just pulling away.
He's just gone. And we've got Stalnikus 2 minutes ahead of Scott Meek, who is 1 minute ahead of Kursat, who is 2 minutes ahead. Well, actually 13 seconds ahead.
Like I said, these guys are going past the lap traffic really well, and the slower cars are doing the best that they can,
To try and stay
allowing
out of
the
the
faster
way.
cars, yes, allowing the fast cars even on the downhill sections to let them by. It's pretty impressive to watch.
They're trying not to cost too much, but at the same time they have to worry about their own race paces. The gap between Fisk and Manu, I kid you not, 14 seconds.
Dropping 2 seconds every time we look at it. About a second a lap. Mine is in the 203. Can you tell me the last laps? The last lap times?
Last lap,
Fisk is in the Manu?
Fisk is 205, Manu 204. It's a high 205, so it's almost a 206. It's like 205.997. Last one was 204.119. Ooh!
He's passing the slow markers on the grass. You see that?
Yeah, that was close.
He's trying his best, yeah.
He's really
He wants
not.
that victory.
Yeah,
he wants that victory, baby.
Oh, he lost the 2 seconds again. Going off the grass. So far, both contenders have the long run pace. They definitely do.
Just waiting to see if Fiskerton's going to go into the pits or not.
No, I'm going to see
He's struggling with those tires. He's definitely struggling with those tires. Seeing him going to that final corner, he was getting a bit sideways there.
2039.
He's pushing. He's opening it up again. One is down to the final corner as well.
2039 was
smooth.
Fisk's last lap.
I'm sure Manu's one must be slow because of that lap to go.
Yeah, that was 206.
Yeah. But
Falcon was a 205. And Fenor was also a 206. And Bullet was a 204. So I think everyone...
Yeah, Falcon's been... Pino's been struggling to pass the Bentley, but he's got past him now. He's coming into the back straight. I just wonder if these cars are going to make it to the end of the race.
So far, Fiskerton's about a 10th off his Sector 1 best. He's Sector 1 best is about a 42.4, but so far right now he's 42.5. Manu's about a 42.9, which is
About a 0.4 slower.
Yeah, about 0.3, 0.4 slower. Actually, that's 0.5 slower. Because Manu's best sector was a 42.4 as well. They're only a few tenths off and a few thousandths off in the first sector in terms of best time. Although he shaved a second in the middle sector. Well, not a second. He saved 3 tenths. 3 tenths. Second sector.
All comes down to this traffic. Who gets past them easier?
But Fisk is trying to keep that gap in the last 11 laps of the Grand Prix.
And we still have Static Energy
And Stocky.
and Stocky just battling along.
Ramy
But
Boo's
now
trying to
Ramy
get
Boo
in
has
there.
joined up.
Oh, he's catching up really quickly. Ooh, he's right on the back of Stocky. They're
We have a
both...
slow car there, so they can't move out. Let's hope that slow car can move out the way. And Ramy Boo just dives inside.
It's getting really close.
There's some good battling.
All right,
Last 11 laps.
11
I think
laps
this is
of the
gonna be
race.
Hairy.
We've got
it's gonna be good.
We've got a 3-car trade. Static Energy, Stocky, and Ramy Boo. And I feel like they're all exhausted at this point after racing this hard entire race long. Someone's gotta give at some point. This is a little insane. They're all within about a second and a half right now.
Yes.
Which I guess is a testament to the drivers that come into R&R and RSR and PRD, because you don't really get to see this much. Static seems to be trying to pull a bit of a gap. Stocky defending for his life.
Stocky's just defending. Stocky is just defending like mad.
He's like, nope, you're not coming by. I don't care if you're in a Porsche.
I think that rough is definitely going to open up on that back straight if he gets a good run out. Oh, and he touches the wall.
Not too bad.
That's...
But he's definitely lost a tenth or two out of that. Now they're like equidistant to the next car.
I think that's 10 laps left over. Let's run through the order and let them battle out for the last little 10 laps. So in first position we have Fiskerton, followed by today known as Manu. Then we have Falcon in P3. We have in P4 we have Phenol. In P5 we have Bullet, who just came into the pits. I don't know how that's going to be with Static Energy. Just about, should be maybe passing him.
Indeed, he's now up in the
Static
fifth
Energy
place.
just passed him. So fifth place for Static Energy. Stocky in P6, Rembu P7. We have Bullet now in P8. We have Dom the Crow in P9 and Corbs in P10. Over to you, Nia.
We then have Flying Spark in P number 11, catching the back of Corbs at the moment. We have Crazy Dog first in the mini GT class with the M1 series car, BMW M1 series. You've got Stolnikas in P number 2. We've got Scott Meek in P3 doing a little bit of a drift there out of the dipper and down the rest of the S's. We've got 7 here as well, currently, I believe, getting lapped by the current leader of the GT3 class, Fiskerton, as he attempts to cut back and almost doesn't make it. And we've got Kursat in P number 4, I believe?
Yes.
Dark Angels in P number 5. Johnny the One retired from the race after having an incident with Wall into turn 1. Scoundrels out of the race as well as having a bit of his own incident. And the camera crew. That's all we have currently for our order. We're going to try and get back to Stocky and see what's going on between he and Flying Spark, as they've all just gained a position. And Bullet's not too far behind, unless if he can make up about 2 seconds a lap, maybe even 3 seconds a lap on the rest of the field, he might be able to do something in the last 9 laps.
We have Stocky peaking in front, peaking next to Static Energy, but just didn't make it stick.
Indeed, definitely kind of trying to catch up there to the back of him. He seems like he's successfully done it. He's just got a bit of a poor exit. But he's very decently balanced in the braking zone. There goes Static Energy trying to get around one of the BMWs. Successfully does it up the inside. So is Stocky. Ramibu is going to catch a little bit of slipstream off the back of him, so he might even gain a few lengths down the straight with that Porsche engine. Bullet just entering the straight now, losing out on the 5th position. And it's Static Energy currently driving it home for the win as fast as he can.
Yes, and we still have cool, calm-headed Fiskerton lying in P1 with racing Manu, which is really putting down some blistering times because he's down to like 10 seconds now behind Fiskerton. So it's getting close. It's very, very much getting close.
Second a lap, 9 laps. Don't think he'll do it unless Fiskerton makes a mistake, but he'll be damn close.
All depends on traffic at this moment in time. All depends on traffic.
If Fisk gets destroyed by traffic, Manu's going to be right behind him. There's no doubt in my mind. If Fisk loses 5 seconds in traffic, in the amount of time that Manu's been catching, he'll definitely catch him by the end of the race.
Some good close battling we've been seeing tonight, though.
Indeed, as Stocky has fallen down to 7th place behind Ramabu. I'm not exactly sure what happened.
I should not look.
He was right behind Static Energy last lap. So it must have happened.
Seems even, so I don't know what happened.
I'm not sure if there was like a lap, there's like a BMW or a lap car who just lost the rear end. Not 100% sure, but he's down into P number 7. I think, around where he started, which isn't too bad a finish considering he hasn't hit anything yet. Though he does seem to be catching up a little bit to the back of Ramiboo. If he catches the back of this BMW, you might get enough slipstream to catch a few more lengths, which should put him in contention. They're now going through the uphill section now, but it seems like Stocky's definitely going to start catching him.
I think you need to look at B9 very quickly. Farm of the Crow and Flying Spark. Flying Spark's taking the inside lane on the follow through. He should be making it stick. Oh, they touch!
Oh, Corbs and Flying Spark have touched. Corbs is down to P number 11. Flying Spark in P number 10. And we have got a battle between the GT3s on our hands, as we've got another car who I think is, no, it's Dam of the Crow. He's fighting Corbs as well. So we've got P number 9, who is a lap ahead. And we've got P number 10, who is a lap behind, and P number 11, who's a lap behind. So they're pretty much attempting to unlap themselves in the final 8 laps, as Corbs goes down to P number 11, and Flying Spark into P number 10, and Dama in P number 9. But it seems as if Corbs has got a bit of a slipstream going on, if I can find him. There we go. And he might try something, as one of, I believe, the BMWs has kind of lost the front end and gone into the wall. Corbs right behind that Z4, trying to see if he can get something done to finish in any other place other than last. Meanwhile, Flying Spark has nicked himself 10th place, and he's currently streaking down the mountain. Bullet's off into P number 8. Stocky is comfortably sat in P number 7 with 7 laps to go. Ramiboo's.
We have a battle between Flying Spark and Corbs out of those 3. And then we have a very good battle happening between Static Energy, Ramiboo, and Stocky.
And the traffic's coming into play, which is probably going to back Ramiboo up into Stocky.
But Bullet
now
is catching very quickly. Bullet is catching Stocky quite quick as they're going up the hill.
Indeed, he's only got an 8-second gap now. 7 seconds in one sector. What in the world is going down? Bullet is absolutely flying out of a gun right now, soaring through the second sector. As Stocky's just cleared the traffic, Ramiboo's just come down the hill, and Static Energy is trying to see if he can control that pace way out front. He's got about 3 seconds behind him to the next car, and I think it's safe to say that Static has safely entered the top 5. 6 laps to go.
You can just about see them on the back straight. It'll give a bit of hope and some pushing into that little noisy pedal.
Vroom vroom. And in Stocky's case, it's going to be more of a turn of skirt, as Bullet is now flying down the run up to the last corner, as Stocky's just left it. So that's a 5-second gap between Bullet and Stocky. 6 laps to go, where there'll be hope for the young Stocky. Who knows?
Stocky just needs to keep himself calm, do those laps, and hope that Bullet doesn't catch him that quick. But by the looks of it, Bullet is flying. He is absolutely flying at the moment. He's got some damage in the front, but nothing is hindering him at the moment. It's getting late here down by me in South Africa, so we have Fiskerton in the back straight, and Manu still sitting with a 10-second gap.
Update on mine, we got 8. So on my telemetry, got 8.5 seconds to Manu.
So Manu
which is
really
insane.
pushing. Manu's flashing down the Bentley as he passes him through. And the Bentley actually completely moves off the line.
I'm gonna check if the
For
fuel
Manu
light's
to come
going
past.
off. They both got the fuel light going off because of the end of the race, of course.
Yep.
So
let's just hope that Fiskerton's got enough fuel in the tank, because he lapped 10 laps before Manu. So if I'm not seeing any pits from Fiskerton, that means Manu can easily make it at the moment.
indeed, he's way past the pit window at this point, so he's either gonna run out of gas or he's gonna win the race. But I'm not sure how much gas he has. He must have enough to keep pushing because he's slowly trying to eke that gap out a little bit. But Manu's flying right now.
Yes, if I'm looking at his telemetry, he's still going full throttle, so I'm sure he knows that he's got enough fuel in that tank.
And Fisk is doing about the same.
Half a second down on his time.
Ooh, very close to the wall there. I'm not sure if the tires are going away from him or the fuel is looking at Fiskerton's telemetry.
Let's get in some traffic now, as Manu is actually coming up behind him pretty much. Manu's coming in the downhill section, where Fiskerton is also in the downhill section.
And he's just gotten out of the way of the BMW, and today has just actually entered the backstretch. So the leads come down to about 7 seconds in the last 5 laps.
Manu can actually see him in the distance there.
That is going to send off some alarms, because Manu just went a 10th faster last lap than Fiskerton, who's probably going to go about a few more tenths faster because of the traffic faster than Fiskerton. But Fiskerton might have to deal with all the BMWs.
We have Bullets coming really up and close onto Stocky now. Stocky running into some traffic.
Oh, that's not going to help him at all.
Which is going to help Bullet a little bit there. BMW moves out of the way.
Yeah, that's helped Bullet a lot.
And Bullet is really now closing into Stocky.
This Ramibu is almost on the end of the straightaway, so I think Stocky's tires might be falling away from him. He's going to go up the inside.
Bullet's going on the inside.
He's hit the curb. He's lost the brakes. Oh! And he's gone really wide.
He shoots the corner. Oh, that was close.
That was very close.
That was close, but I think Bullet has it that he can. Still 4 laps left.
He's got.
Close it up again and try again.
As long as traffic doesn't get in Bullet's way, he definitely can take 7th place from Stocky. Ramibu seems safe in 6th position with the mistake that Bullets just made. And Static Energy is pretty safe where he is at the moment. He's got Ramibu like way back in his mirrors, but he's doing pretty well at the time being. Going back to her leader, the gap is now back to about high 7-8 seconds.
I don't know, like, I'm seeing them both on the back straight. So I don't know if our telemetries are acting up, but this is pretty close. Okay, no.
So it's about 9.
Fiskerton's coming into the final corner as Manu is now coming onto the final corner.
It feels like about 9 seconds. 8-9 seconds.
Could be. Could be.
If I just go off of me timing when they hit each apex. About 9-second gap. 8-9. My telemetry says 8. I count around 9.
In seconds, yeah. I just counted them down.
I don't know why my telemetry is saying about 8 flat, but...
No, my telemetry is saying 7-7.
I had 7-7
So
for a moment too,
right.
so... I don't know what's going on. Ramiboo is about 4 seconds behind Static, and Bullet has taken 7th position from Stocky. Stocky is drafting him on the back straight. We've got 3 laps left. I'm not sure what's gonna happen. Not sure if Stocky just has the grip to compete with Bullet at the moment on fresh tires. But we'll find out momentarily as we go through the uphill. Seems like there sounded like there was a bit of a crash going uphill.
Bullet's pulling a bit of the lead now.
Yeah, Bullet's about 2 seconds a lap faster.
Three laps left over out of this 2-hour race.
2-hour race.
Very entertaining.
Entertaining pit strategy game going on here toward the end. But it looks as if Fiskerton's pretty safe, because I don't see Manu pulling that 7-8 second gap down in 2 seconds. I mean 2 laps.
I think Manu's just been having some traffic issues. Other than that, I think he would have been pulling him in.
Yeah, he would have been pulling him in, but every time he seems to catch up, traffic gets in the way. It just seems the interval at which they're both going at, the traffic always favors Fiskerton. Which might have been a play to... That might be why Fiskerton stopped a little earlier, just so he can get offset with the traffic.
That's very true.
So that way, if he's offset with the traffic, he'll catch them in all of the straight bits.
We have Falcon running in 3rd at the moment, followed by Phenol. Static Energy, nice and calm. 5th, Ramiboo in 6th. Bullet in 7th, with Stocky following behind in 8th. Dom of the Crow was looking pretty smashed up, but he's lying at P9, followed by his Flying Spark. Corb's then in P11, Crazy Dog in P1 from his 2nd class in P12. Solnik is following in 13. 14th is Scott Mick. 7 in P15. Kursat in P16. And we have Dark Angel in the pits at the moment. Oh, I'm seeing a crash happening on the hill. I have no clue who that is. Stocky just went past someone.
I see no
Trying
slow
to
cars.
work out who it was. It was an orange car.
Well, if it wasn't Stocky, then it has to be...
Stocky passed, so I don't know who it was. Sucks.
It wasn't Ramiboo then, because Ramiboo's still running. If I check who's in the pits...
Bullet is in the pits. Bullet is out. Bullet is out of the race.
Well, if that's the case, then that gives the place back to Stocky. If Bullet is out of the race in the last lap, then that's going to give that place back to Stocky, which is going to give Ramiboo 6th and Static 5th, so it's back to the same order. Fun little update. We've got 6.5 seconds now to Fiskerton in the last lap.
I think Fiskerton's got this in the bag though.
Yeah, I think he's like just letting off because he knows he's got it.
Actually not. He's quite pushing on the hill there.
Let me see. Never mind. Sorry, stream. I was lying. He's still going.
He's pushing hard. He knows Manu's breathing down his neck, and Manu's pushing as hard as he can.
He's trying to keep that 6-second lead, which is almost exactly 6 seconds.
Oh, we got Fiskerton running in the back straight now. His last time he's doing this. Manu also in the back straight.
So, after 2 long hours, a few wrecks, and a lot of people not making it to the end of this race, here comes Fiskerton around the final corner, past the BMW, to win the 2 hours of Bathurst, hosted by PRD and RSR. Manu, also known as Today, is going to come home in 2nd place after a hard-fought charge to try and take the lap time to Fiskerton. He just couldn't quite do it at the end. The deficit was too large from the first stint onward. We have Falcon coming home in the 3rd position. He's a bit banged up, but he managed to play his cards right, and he's ended up on the podium here at the crossover event. You've got Thenor. He's down into the 4th position. Solid race from him in the moment. Not much damage to his car. Maybe a broken tail light, but not much at all. He's got, nope, tail lights still function. So he's going to come home with a clean car off into, I believe, what is to be the 4th position. We've got, no, wait, what happened?
That's everyone finishing at different time intervals. We're going to have to wait until everyone passes the start-finish line.
Alright. Well, that's your top 4. We'll see what the rest of the field turns out at the end of the session, when everything kind of stacks itself out with the...
And Fiskerton must have been pushing it down to the wire, because he is already in the pits. He couldn't even finish his outlap, so he had 0 fuel left over there.
Yeah. He was really on the cusp. I know in PRD every race, for most of the races, I think at least half of the drivers their AI run half or a quarter of the outlap and then just go to pits because they run out of fuel. I remember there was one race that I was commentating over for PRD where because I had a counter issue, I assumed everyone was still racing, and 5 cars ran out of fuel at the end, and it was the AI doing the outlaps. So you had the 5.
I think we should be pulling in the top 3 at least for an interview, and definitely Crazy Dog Stolnikas.
We have Crazy Dog Stolnikas, Fiskerton,
Jay, and
Manu,
Falcon.
And Falcon.
Okay, well, I'm gonna jump into their TeamSpeak and see if I can move them. I'll see you now.
Alright. Let's see. But currently, the order goes as follows. We've got Fiskerton first, Today 2nd, Falcon 3rd, Fenor 4th place. We've got Static in the 5th position, Ramiboo in the 6th position, Stocky in the 7th position. We've got Dam of the Crow in 8th position, Flying Spark in the 9th position, Corbs in the 10th position, Bullet in the 11th position,
and
Crazy Dog in the...
We have Fiskerton with us. Well done, Fiskerton, on your win. That was insane driving. Your car looks clean as when you started it. How was the race for you?
It was pretty good. Like, what happened to me, I didn't expect to get first, because I actually touched the wall quite a few times throughout the race and got into a little contact lapping people. So I had to pit earlier than I wanted to, so I put it on lap 25, and I had to take full fuel because I didn't know how much I needed to finish the race. I was just hoping that would be enough.
You made it by a ball head because
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think you finished your out lap and your car being pulled to the pit.
Yeah, I finished on 0.2 liters, and I was fuel saving like the last 10 laps, just hoping.
Yeah, we saw Manu pulling at least. Manu was pulling at least a second and a half when you pull up. Well done, and from our side, that was insane driving.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
Well done, buddy.
I got a lot of bad luck with my placement for where I had to lap cars. I mean, there was once, it was at the beginning where I had to pass like a pack of 6 lapped cars, and I had to do it all on the top of the hill, and Manu just got it all in the straights. He just flew right past all of them, and that took a lot of
Manu also had some very bad slow cars just holding him back. It was pretty much even to both of you on the slow cars, but yeah, well done for you. Well done on your victory.
Do you also know? Did he have a problem in the pit or something?
The pit just held him for forever. We noticed.
Yeah, I was surprised how many seconds I got out ahead of him.
Yeah, no, we'll find out shortly by him. See what happened.
All right.
Yeah, you want to say anything?
Nope, that's all.
Yeah, do you want to say anything?
That was just superb. I did see on the downhill section sometimes, at least all of the top split drivers were coming across sideways. I wasn't necessarily sure what was going on, but it's very fun to watch.
I almost lost it a few times near the end. My tires were getting really bad at the end, but made it just enough.
Thanks for the interview. I'm going to be moving you back up. I'm going to be moving today in here. There's Betty. Hello, Manu.
Hello.
Well done for your second position.
Yeah. Yeah.
You were catching him very well there near the end, though.
Yeah, it was. I took damage in the first turn actually by hitting bullet, so I was like 6 to 7 kph down on the straight. That's how the big gap was there after the first stint. And in the second stint I was really good. I had really good pace, and then I think I drove into the rear of Dark Angel. I'm not sure. And then I had the same issue again, 6 kph down.
Yeah, we were noticing you were struggling on the hills, passing the slow markers, and at one point you even passed one of the slow markers like off the side of the curb, like down the dipper, pretty much. That was a very ballsy move. That was amazing. Well done on your second, though. I think a few more laps more, and I think you would have had it. But he was just keeping control in front, running out of fuel.
Yeah, I was actually hoping he has to go to the pits again for a splash and dash.
We were saying that exactly here. We were expecting that. Was there something wrong with your pits? Because your pits took forever to come out.
Yeah, there was this message that someone lost a wheel nut or something.
That's just unlucky.
Yeah.
That is just unlucky.
Like, hey, we lost a wheel nut. We're gonna fix that.
So just put it back on.
But I'm not sure how much I lost through that, but yeah, a couple mistakes. The fight early with Bullet, I think those were the main points. Otherwise, I could have catched maybe Fiskitten, but strong performance.
Bullet was fast, but he was just inconsistent.
Yeah. Congrats to Fiskitten, and yeah, I had also the PR delivery, so.
Yeah, we noticed.
I don't know. Something went wrong, but I couldn't leave and join again because I was the host. So.
Yeah, no, all good. Okay, thanks, Manu. Thanks for coming to the interview.
Yeah, thank you for streaming, guys.
More than a pleasure.
No problem.
All right, see ya. Bye bye.
Okay. Cheers, Manu. Okay, I'm going to be pulling in Falcon next. On the GT3 class.
Falcon punch.
Hey, Falcon, hello.
What's going on?
Congratulations on the third position. How was the car?
Car was alright. To be honest, I only really practiced for about 30 minutes. I wasn't really, didn't have a complete setup, so to speak, so I'm sure those guys were probably running a little bit more or less downforce than I was.
I saw you having a little bit of issues with the car, giving it a few little smacks against the wall, but well done on you.
Yeah, it's probably more of a like a lag kind of thing when you watch it on spectator. I really, the max
That's very
damage
true.
I had was 12% aero damage, and that was that one hit when I was following I forget what his name was, but he made a little mistake. He hit the wall too, and I kind of sort of moved moved locked in on him and kind of just hit the wall with him too as well. So
You and
then
Fino
after
had
that,
a good battle.
yeah, it wasn't too bad. There at the start, my brakes, I didn't really think that my brakes were going to be that cold, so I tried to stay side by side with Manu, but I kind of overshot the corner and let the guy behind me through.
Unlucky.
I didn't really think too much about strategy or anything. I kind of just went into this race as kind of like a fun kind of thing. So I kind of did a whole one-stop, and I didn't even really know if it was going to be
Enough fuel for the rest of the race.
yeah.
Well done in your third position.
At one point I had, I think it was lap 28 or 29. I thought about coming in a little bit early, but I knew the car took 130 liters, so I knew I couldn't pit in just yet. So luckily I played the long game, and it worked out very well. I was pretty consistent with doing low 205s, and that was enough to take over third place because I kind of figured they were going to go on a two-stop strategy, and so since my pace was a little bit slower, it wasn't as hard as on the tires as probably they were, and it
That's
worked
cool.
out. So there when I came out, or when he took tires and fuel, I was able to eke out a 5-second lead there towards the end, and I pretty much held it towards the end. And I guess he had a problem of some sort, because I guess I increased my pace again, and then I think it was like 8 or 9 seconds there at the end of the finish line. So
Yeah.
it wasn't too bad.
Okay, well done. We're going to be putting in the next person.
Yeah, no problem.
Yes.
Thanks.
Awesome. Cheers, Falcon.
Later.
Good to see an alien back in the mix again.
Yeah, I mean, I am kind of retired from this game. I wouldn't really say alien, but yeah, retired. I guess we could go with retired alien. I think that might be
There we go. Okay, I'll see you, buddy.
Later, guys.
Okay, Crazy Dog's going to be pulled in. Well done, Crazy Dogs, on your victory on the second class.
Crazy.
That was some good driving. You had some battles with Jono the One throughout the race. Unlucky for him, he hit the invisible wall and just exploded into little million pieces.
Yeah.
How was the car feeling for you?
The brakes weren't feeling too great. Even though I had ABS on, it would lock up a lot, and I was kind of surprised I was able to keep up for as long as I could. So
The pace was really insane when you were following the GT3s down the back straight. You guys were keeping up with the GT3s.
yeah, the 1M is actually surprisingly quick in the straight line. I mean, going at the kink, you could sometimes reach 176 miles per hour, or I don't know what that is in kph, but yeah, it's pretty quick.
That's pretty quick, yes. Well done. Nia, you want to say anything?
The front end seemed like it was pretty solid for you the whole race weekend. We kind of figured it was solid for man, my memory's gone now. I wanted to say
Jono,
Jono the One?
Jono the One, yes.
Jono the One was drifting every corner.
Yeah, it was pretty funny to see. But did you have any problems with the rear end toward the end of the race?
yeah, I would get some issues. especially like in the hard braking after the kink, going to the left, it would sometimes lock up and I'd slide a little bit, or going on the downhill S's, but yeah, I was able to keep it in line somehow.
And for strategy, how well do you think the strategy ended up playing into your favor with Johnny the One actually having to retire the car, and a few other cars like coming in and going out of pace?
Yeah, I noticed, well, at the start, how Jono had such great pace. I was kind of curious how that was going to factor in how early he was going to have to pit. And so I just kind of kept a pretty decent pace, and just had to go into pits later, and just kind of accumulated. So I wasn't really too worried with Jono, like even if he didn't hit the invisible wall or whatever, because I still had I had a couple laps of new tires instead of him, so I wasn't too worried, and it kind of worked out.
And
Well done,
final
Victor.
question before we let you go. Since we're coming off of April Fools, you're going to be enjoying the champagne after the race?
Yeah, I'll be enjoying champagne or whiskey or whatever.
That's good. That's good. Well done, your victory. I'll be pulling in Stolnikas next.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, cheers. Thanks for the interview.
Cheers.
Hello, Stolnikas. Well done in your second position on the second class.
Hello. Thank you.
How was the car feeling?
At first stint was awesome. I was doing nice laps, good times, and after pit stop, I don't know, I maybe got the wrong tires or something, because I was only able to do 217s after that, and all the other pit stops also was bad.
Because we were noticing you were blisteringly quick in the qualifying, and then just fell back in the race in the first half.
Yeah. Something wrong.
How did your strategy work out? Was it good?
Yeah, it was good. Basically, when I got the wrong tires, I thought that I will still need to hit 2 more times, so and to hit a bit earlier, because I don't need the whole 2 tires, set of tires, so maybe so I thought maybe I will be getting better tires.
Well done in your second position. Nia, do you want to say anything? Nia,
Were
are you here?
Were
wanna say
you
anything?
drinking tea for the entirety of that race?
Sorry?
Would you happen to be drinking tea for the entirety of that race?
The reason why we asked that is you were the smoothest car we saw going through the hill.
even when the car was like 45 degrees, it's just like, oh no, here we go.
That's fine.
It's fine, guys.
Yeah, it was fine.
I know you held that car down. It was so good to watch you going through the hills, through the hilltop, so close to the line, so close to the wall. It was entertaining to watch, and it looked like you were under control to 110%, and then just chilling, like just really like Neo was saying, having a cup of tea while going through it.
I was sweating all the time, like hell.
Well done in your second position.
Okay,
I'm going to be moving you back. Thank you. Oh, there we go. Okay, so Nia, that concludes us. Do you want to be pulling anyone else in?
That's a good question. Who do we have on the list?
We do have third position, but he was very far behind in the third class.
We have
The second class, should I say.
The only one I could think of is we could talk to Static, because he sat behind Stocky for 1,000,000 laps.
Ah, let's go for that. So Static. Is he there? Yes, he is. Okay, I'm gonna get him.
was that?
Hello, Static.
Hello.
Neo wants to ask you a few questions.
So Static, in the beginning of the first stint, you seemed to be doing relatively well. You went back and forward a few times, but ultimately well. But after the first stint, we did happen to notice you had about at least a 40-lap battle with Stocky. How well did that go over in your mind over the course of pretty much the entire race?
Oh, it was fine. I mean, honestly, the first lap, actually the first half a lap, I think it was Bullet. I'm not 100% sure, but one of the McLarens spun out at the top of the hill and
That was Bullet.
almost killed me and possibly could have killed everybody else, but somehow I got out of there with just rear suspension damage because when I braked, somebody hit me from behind into the sand. So the entire 30 laps of stint 1, I was just kind of pissed, so I just kept driving. But the entire 30 laps of stint 1, I was 2.5 seconds off my regular pace for every lap. But then when I finally pitted at 30, it was pretty much just game on. And I ended up with a few real clean drivers for lapping, so it was quite nice second stint.
That was really, for us, very entertaining to watch. Lap after lap, you guys would just ride like nose to tail for all three of you.
Well, he was the perfect guy for that because, you know, this is, I think, his first like real big endurance race, and I think his intention was only to, you know, just race well. So I knew he wasn't going to do anything drastic, which is why we got in just sort of a tandem, you know, just bump out the lap times and be as careful as possible. The only weird parts were just typical in passing situations where you kind of get stacked up somewhere. There were a couple moments where it was like, you know, heart up in your chest, like super close moments.
I'm sure we saw him overshooting a few corners and coming right up beside you and then overshooting the whole corner, and then you guys still battle on.
Yeah, it was a really fun race overall though. After 30 laps went by, I think everybody really settled in and the racing was going quite well. I'm pretty happy with how it all went.
How were the tires feeling under you in the last 15 laps?
Oh, they were quite good actually. I by the time I hit the second stint, I got so good under the terrible damage situation that by the time I got a decent car under me, I just sort of drove really consistently. So the last 10 laps were fine. The only thing I was doing is I was watching my time between Ramaboo real closely because, I mean, he was in the rough, so I think he had a little bit of a disadvantage, but there were some moments where I thought he could have pushed for position, so
Yeah, we noticed he was struggling on the hill, but as soon as he comes to the straights, he would just haul ass pretty much quick on the straights.
Well, again, it was all the passing strategy, you know, because occasionally you'd hit a BMW in the worst place, and then you'd lose like 4 seconds, so the last 10 laps, I was like, just don't get behind a BMW in the top of the hill. And it ended up doing all right.
That was well done.
Thank you.
Hey, you want to say anything else?
I think I'm good.
No. Thanks to everybody at RSR, PRD. It's been a really fun event doing these crossovers. So, looking forward to Monza already.
Yes, same here. Okay, thanks Static for coming into the interview. I'll be moving you back in.
Righto.
Alright, I think the last
So
person
near
we
that
got is Stocky.
Is who?
The last person we got, I think, is Stocky. I think.
You want to pull him in?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just going to pull him straight in. Stocky, you here, buddy?
Hey.
Hey, yo, what's up?
Yes, I think Neo wants to talk to you.
Yo, Nair.
So, we've had a look at a lot of drivers and a lot of cars. A lot of them happen to be Swiss cheese hamburgers by the time we got to the end. But you were among, I think, one of 3 or 4 drivers who actually barely had a scratch on their car by the end of the race. How does that feel? Knowing where you finished.
It does feel good. I did have a little bit of damage, though. I took when we were running 3 of us, Rammy Boo, me and Static. I ended up taking a little damage on the wall. and let them both in front of me. But it was a great race, man. I had a lot of fun.
What happened with you and Bullet
I don't remember.
at the end of the race?
Oh, at the end of the race, Bullet spun in one of the turns, and I think he just retired the pit after that.
Yeah, he just left.
Yeah, as soon as I went by him, he hit me. He pushed me up against the wall. That's where I ended up taking some more damage too. So I did have damage in my car. Up until
From our point of perspective, your car looked beautiful still. Zero scratches.
It was in good shape. Yeah, it was in good shape. I mean, I still had my dings like anybody else, but maybe a few less dings.
A few.
Yeah, how did it look from the announcers booth? Did you
From
guys
the-
have a lot of fun there?
We had great fun. There was so much battles happening. The hills was insane to watch, and Manu was just closing down on P1, and we were just worried about the pit stop strategies and that. Oh, it was good to watch, and especially your guys' three-way battle between you, Static, and Remy Boo. It was so good to watch.
Yeah, that was tough. This is my first GT3 race. I'm an open wheeler, not a GT3er. So this was quite an initiation for me.
Well, you came to